The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
JJ, Jeff, you want to kick this thing off? Because I'm still trying to process everything here.
Yeah, it's like,
who wants to go first?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Well,
Come on in. It's open mic night with your host.
you could maybe say there's really 4 topics, but it's split into 6.
The Renegade, JJ Williams.
The Sammy and Eddie Kingston thing, which one's the better smelling turd?
And his panel of co-hosts.
I am the founder. We'll call me that for today since we're going with the Jeff Jarrett love theme here this week, according to JJ.
The West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham.
Karma is karma is karma.
That's professional wrestling! Damn it!
The Simple Man, Noah Foster.
It's showtime! Yeah! How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Jeff?
James.
Yeah.
And the Heb Man, James Hebert.
Imagine Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Paul White, the Baldies. There you go. It sells itself.
God.
Get in there.
Short his ass and shit the bed.
He's not Amber Heard.
Give it time, JJ. Give it time.
No, I'm sure Jeff has some stuff that
Dumb move. Just don't pull this bullshit again. You get one.
Tony needs to stop caring about the ratings.
Bradshaw said as long as the ads are in place, we're not going to lose that third hour.
Ring of Honor does not have to be AEW Live. They don't necessarily have to coexist with each other. We kind of saw that tonight to a degree.
Along with a panel of guests.
He is no
longer glorious. Don't you bring that up. You want me to rant about what my NXT used to... No, we are done here for the night. I swear, James.
Because you never know who may show up for open mic night.
I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives.
The first thing that came to my mind was, it's about damn time.
Amen.
I literally touched everybody in the state's trash. So it's horrible, you guys.
Peyton's new thing is Dennis the Menace, but it's funny because she calls it Dentist the Medicine. And
that's great.
When Elliot Taylor came out and did Born for Greatness live, I was popping my pussy, having a great time. I didn't care. I was having so much fun.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Fuck Bill Belichick.
Oh my God! Go there. How to do the friggin' football thing? We ended on wrestling, and then you bring in that shit. That's just how the thing goes off the damn rails. Brilliant, bloody brilliant.
What is up, everybody? Jeff Meacham here outside my original home away from home, the Fabulous Forum. But just for perspective, as we get ready to go into AEW Dynamite Rampage, probably Dark in Elevation 2, I want everybody to see just how close we are. We are literally in the shadow of the site of WrestleMania. What was this, WrestleMania 39 we're coming up on? Yeah, WrestleMania 39. SoFi Stadium there. The people are lined up out here to go to the Terrace, to go to the Forum Club, and to see the Acclaim, because they are the World Tag Team Champions, as they do. But in the meantime, good old JM not able to be with you guys tonight live, but let's kick off open mic night. Noah?
What started off as a simple post-show conversation became a weekly forum of engagement and entertainment. And here we stand 1 year later on this platform, for a celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, viewers and inquirers of all ages, whether you watch this live or on demand, welcome to the 1-year anniversary edition of Open Mic Night. And you know what this is, for I am the Simple Man, and my name is Noah Foster, with my esteemed panel of fellow inquirers and Open Mic Night panelists. Of course, the Renegade JJ Williams, leader, founder, brainchild, creative mind, James Hebert. Get it right, folks. He has all the stats, and he'll tell them in and out. Stat boy Mikey, and of course, he may just happen to be here, but he is also a great fan, a fellow fan, Naughty Q panelist, the baller himself, Big Baller, Big G. And of course, shout out to everybody in the comments. Gabriel, Everything Pro Wrestling, Cleaver Con Andrew, get some prime cuts. And anybody that's been a part of this forum for the last year, thank you as always for your continued support, engagement, and participation. So, guys, here we stand. It's been 1 year. Can you believe it? We have done this now literally for 52 weeks. So, with that being said, JJ, again, thank you for giving me this humble responsibility to be the MC of tonight's festivities. But how are you, good sir?
Doing well, man. I'm glad to be here. Trying to steal Big G's gimmick today. I'm just happy to be here tonight. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how you handle this. For the viewers at home, I decided to let Noah be the host, the MC for this evening, because he's the one who pointed out to me and Jeff and to James that this was going to be our 1-year anniversary. None of the rest of us was that even on our radar as like a thing. Noah had that and brought it up to us and was like, you know what? You're the one that realized what was coming up. You spearhead this thing. Let's see how you handle this. We've been slowly chiseling away, trying to break Noah out of his shell just a little bit. Doing commentary on a regular basis for not just AEW and Ring of Honor and, stuff that he would watch anyways, solo calling Wrestle Kingdom, but does WWE on a regular basis, not his NXT, damn it. He's coming out of his shell there. We had him singing Christmas carols on the eve of Christmas Eve, something I know he never thought he would do on the air.
You're welcome.
And that he enjoyed way more than he'll ever admit to the general public, if we're being honest. And now today he gets to be the host with the most. If it was Halloween, we would call him our ghost host.
Ooh.
Right,
I like what you did there.
Is it showtime?
I think
it is showtime.
I think it's safe to say it's showtime.
Yeah.
That being said, I may have a voice of many talents and also many characters, but someone else who has that as well is, of course, my great friend, James Hebert. James, here we are 1 year later. Again, it started with me, you, and Jeff, and you saying something like, Darth Vader! And again, the type of humor and creativity you brought to this forum and still bring every week is always appreciated, man. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Still got a pulled muscle in my neck, though, but I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here for the 1 year anniversary of Open Mic Night. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Love it. And of course, like I said, he may just always be happy to be here on the Naughty Q Review and maybe in general on other stuff too. But we truly appreciate you, my brother, even though you and I probably have bigger walls than most people in both families. Big G, how are you this evening?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Watched a movie with the wife on Peacock called Sick. It's a horror flick. Basically, it's during the pandemic, and that's all I'm going to give away. If anybody has Peacock, go and watch it if you're a horror fan. Other than that, watching some football before the anniversary of Open Mic Night. And as always, I am happy to be here.
Appreciate you. And again, from one sports enthusiast to another that can give you all the statistics galore and more. If you haven't been to the sports bar, go there, grab a drink, be a part of the conversation. Stat Boy Mikey. Stat Boy, how are you?
Doing good. It's a little chilly out here in Tennessee. We got some snow the past couple of days. I loved every bit of it. I got to work in it. Like Baller said, watching with the NFL playoffs. They just started. Got a good day coming up tomorrow too. And hey, 1 year, the first milestone has been passed. And like the LA Kings said, what are you looking forward to? The next one. So I'm looking forward to more. I want this to continue. I want this to thrive. I want this to explode. We're the multiverse of media. I love it.
Yeah, you got it right this time.
Yay!
So I don't have to start the botch count yet.
No alcohol tonight. Not tonight. No.
Yeah, I got.
Cleaver, you're welcome to come on anytime, sir. Enjoy your evening.
Yep, and again, Colin and anybody that's been out there, whether in the forum or in the chat, thank you so much for your continued support, engagement, and overall just your thoughts and takes. Of course, I see you there. So I think without further ado, let's get right into it. We have a fun agenda ahead tonight, and I think it's only fitting that we start off with some celebration of a different sort. As you all know, last night was the launch pad of Impact Wrestling 2023 Hard to Kill pay-per-view. And in her 200th match, putting everything she could on herself, all or nothing, do or die, title versus career, Hardcore Country did it for the 5th time at her 200th match in Impact Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, your new Knockouts World Champion, Mickie James. She has dethroned the juggernaut Jordynne Grace. I couldn't be happier for her. A phenomenal run in this last rodeo, and she's not done quite yet. So with that being said, again, I always acknowledge all of you. With that being said, JJ, you of course were there hearing me and James bring the commentary. Mickie James, again, trailblazer, legend, Hall of Famer. She's done it all, but she felt like she needed to do this just to really put a bow on her career, prove that she could still hold up with today's generational talent, but also still lead by example. She put it on herself and she succeeded. What are your thoughts? Mickie James, 5-time Knockouts champion.
You know, I must say this. I'm going to be 100. I'm a straight shoot with y'all. And I don't mean to sound fucked up with this hot take, but I don't know what I'm happier for. The fact that Mickie James regained the title and is still going, or the fact that Jordynne Grace finally lost that shit. Because it's been no secret. I have not been a fan of hers ever since she came out and started running her mouth last year about the way that Tony Khan was using her husband, Jonathan Gresham, after the acquisition of Ring of Honor. And then she went on and had that hot take about how how Chris Benoit wouldn't be able to hang with the guys in the industry these days. After those two things that came out last year with her, I was done with her. I just wanted her off of my screens. You know, I'm not a proponent of cancel culture, but you could say I wanted her canceled. I was just over her. So the fact that Mickie is getting another run with the title and that she was able to dethrone Jordynne to do it. You know, I said it last night when you guys were going through and doing predictions before the show started. Mickie's going to lose her career and the title at the same time.
Yep. And I feel like she's going to pass the torch on to still somebody I believe who's still seeing on her career so much more potential, but I'll talk more about that later. And yeah, Jerry, told you so. I am the influencer, and sometimes I'm right. Darren, good to see you. Safety and Hassan, good to see you too. Stat Boy, we talk about, statistics, numbers. This is Mickie James' now 5th Knockouts World Championship. What was your takeaway? Again, the entrance alone, she really put everything in there, going back to her culture. Again, she's Native American. She put on herself blood, sweat, tears, heart, soul. Mickie James did. Your thoughts?
Well, you also got to remember, I'm not really big into the other promotions. However, I am very happy for Mickie James. Of course, she's now matched her 5 title runs in WWE. And she's 43 years old with 4 kids. She's still as hot as ever. And her greatest moment will always be, and Renegade knows the story, when she got to meet my niece, his daughter. It was the cutest story ever. I love that story. That is the greatest Mickie James moment ever in her career. Of course, I don't think that she can top anything story-wise. And again, I don't know what her character is doing in TNA Impact. But of course, I'll just quickly throw out the psycho stalker gimmick with Trish Stratus is one of the greatest storylines ever, to the point where WWE Network Peacock had to actually censor out a moment. If you know, you know.
I'm just gonna say that's bullshit, but I get what you're saying, and I know exactly what moment you're talking about.
Mhm.
And Big G, as WWE fan, I'm sure you and I can both reminisce on that WrestleMania 22 moment.
Right,
But,
her first title run. Yep.
but what's your thoughts on Mickie James now starting her 5th run as Knockouts World Champion in Impact Wrestling?
Well, I'm a stat boy. And you know me, I'm not a big Impact guy. I mean, I do see highlights here and there if I'm scrolling through Instagram and TikTok. I do follow them on social media outlets and stuff like that. But good for Mickie. I did kind of follow her last rodeo thing, and like you said, 43 years old. I don't know what else to say. It's just, you think somebody's done in the wrestling business, and here they are proving that they're not done. So, and we'll see what happens. I know this is not going really off topic, but we'll see what happens with Nick Aldis now. He's a free agent. Will he show up in Impact, later down the road? So we'll see. We'll see. Good, like I said, again, good for Mickie. Not much else to say than that.
A very fair rebuttal. James, again, you and I not only called it, we predicted on it, but nice one, Colin. We also talked about maybe this is for Mickie to put over the next person that could go as far, if not further, than what Hardcore Country has done. You and I talked about on hand several individuals of that Knockouts division, why we believe that the Knockouts division is the best booked women's division here in the Western Front of women's professional wrestling. Damn it. So that being said, James, your takeaways on Mickie James winning at her 200th match, her 5th title, and to support Colin's question, we know she's facing clearly. We got a number contender, but is she or somebody else you think the one that can take the title off Mickie?
There's a couple people that come to mind. If she's not in the WWE, Chelsea Green. If she is in the WWE, then I'm going with Deonna Purrazzo because of the story they already started building. That comment, absolutely true, by the way, Jerry, because and I think even Eric Bischoff said this on his podcast, and I actually agree with him. And I agree with him before he ever said it. Their TV deal is awful. Like, and for the level of quality they're putting out on their product as of the last 4 or 5 years now.
Yes,
they need to get on a better network, man. They like get Freddie Prinze Jr. as your financial backer or something. Because I guess the idea is they don't want to be too big for the bridges because they tried that and now they're just afraid because of what happened last time, and so they're like afraid to go. But I mean, dude, I saw the best top to bottom card I've seen, like other than the Wrestle Kingdoms, and we're only in the beginning of the year, and you rounded it out with the main event. I think that from beginning to end, you had the best card Impact's produced in a very long time. Honestly, might be the best card top to bottom they've ever done. Just because there was nothing to miss. I don't know why they don't get a better TV deal at this point. They have the roster. They have people they're signing to do this, and it feels like they're getting a pittance of what they should be making at this point.
Fair.
Like I really believe they need to get a better TV deal, so that way people can watch them more often. That's just me, because like no one I have access, but like that doesn't mean the rest of the freaking world does. Exactly. And in fact, I know for a fact the rest of the world doesn't. And like I understand freaking Anthem owns that. Like that's great, but Tony Khan owns AEW. He's got that on better freaking channels for people to watch. You know, WWE's on USA and Fox. You know, you'd be better off selling it to Freddie Prinze Jr. and he could probably get you a better freaking TV deal. That's my deal, honestly, because like I think it's about that time Impact comes back in a big way again, and I think it starts with making that big move. They already got the roster, they already got the talent. They need to get the eyes again, so that people can actually watch what the hell we've been seeing and what we've been calling for the last year and a half.
At least, give or take. And I thought last year was their best year. Big J, I did see your hand. You have a statement, I believe, or something to say?
I have two different questions. All right, so how long was Jordan Grace's title run? Was it over a year?
I can get that.
No,
I can get that for you in just a second.
Okay.
Yep, Stat Boy with the stats. I know that she won it at Queen of the Mountain last year at Slammiversary, but she also wasn't pinned or submitted since last year's February. Just to put that in perspective for you. Stat Boy will give you the exact stats here in a moment as I look here and see.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Impact was on Spike, right? At one point.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that was before.
And
that was before.
and
Dixie
Cleaver
Carter
said it
screwed that
best
up.
here because I have YouTube TV as well, and that's if it was on a major network channel like on Spike or something like that, I would watch it. But since it's on Access TV, it's like way out of the way for me to keep up. So
yeah,
that's fair. Go ahead, Stat Boy.
Jordan Grace won the title on June 19th, 2022 for a reign of 208 days.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
I just needed to know the stat.
That's why he's here, the man with the numbers. And great picks, everybody. And thank you, chat, for your engagement. And again, folks, super chats are encouraged if you want to really be acknowledged and get our attention. JJ, I believe you have something to say.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, Mickie James on this last rodeo. What are the odds that we'll get to see another appearance of her while she's on this kick in the WWE? I mean, last year she did the unthinkable and came into the Rumble as Knockouts champion. Mm-hmm. She is once again Knockouts champion. The Rumble's in about 2 weeks. Who's to say that she can't enter the Rumble again? And because it's not a legitimate match, if she gets eliminated, she's not pinned or submitted. She keeps her rodeo going. But maybe whoever eliminates her, we could set up a match versus Mickie at Mania.
If there's one thing we learned last year, truly you say never, but honestly, I was waiting for them to set up Lita versus Mickie James last year that she got eliminated by Lita. So I do love that idea. And with the fact that fellow knockout great and champion Tara was there, I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a Legends match with those two on Impact Wrestling per se. So the possibilities are there. But to answer a question earlier, James, great retort by when it came to networking and the future. I still think Deonna Purrazzo should be the one to literally take the torch from Mickie James. She's been the standard in the main event of the Knockouts division and for a good portion of women's wrestling since showing up in Impact Wrestling at Slammiversary 2020. She also hasn't beaten Mickie James yet. So, again, I'm just trying, throw it out there. You look at the now versus what's to come versus who's going to be around for the long haul. Again, Mickie James, you put everything out there. You're once again Knockouts champion. You did the chase. What are you going to do now that you will be the hunted? And we already know who's coming after you first, an lethal assassin named Masha Slamovic.
Colin, is Paramount owners of Spike? Or is that a different network entirely?
Well, Paramount Plus is an app that I think more so plays Nickelodeon CBS based content, so I don't think that's
if they got on CBS, that would be a huge coup. But again, I think they'd have to get Freddie Prinze Jr. on board in order to have that happen.
Stat Boy?
CBS usually fails when it comes to anything other than football and basketball. I mean, they tried to do something with MMA. It was one of I think it was supposed to be a Kimbo Slice fight.
That was a disaster. And then I know what fight you're talking about. That was It was him versus Donna 5000. That was always going to be a disaster.
Yeah. So CBS can they CBS and Paramount should just stick to football and basketball, but anything and maybe golf on Sundays. But they should not touch the wrestling market at all.
Well, golf is golf is failing too, but that's because they did what everybody's fearing WWE might do. Reportedly, allegedly.
Keep certain R words out of here, James. I gotta say,
that just to put that in perspective, JJ, go ahead.
Mikey, are you just talking about as far as professional sports goes? As far as what TBS does well?
TBS does okay. CBS.
No, that's what I'm saying. CBS, as far as what CBS does well in pro sports, is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about in general numbers?
I'm talking about in general.
Okay, because last I checked, CBS also had a couple of shows called Survivor and Big Brother that did phenomenally.
Oh yeah,
reality.
CBS reality, absolutely.
CBS reality is
they're on point with that. Numbers. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But anything else? Oh, and of course, The Price is Right. We can't forget about them.
Yeah. That's fair. Still, even with Drew Carey as the host. This is my thing. My only argument is every single example you've mentioned. So golf right now is failing. We know the reason why. I just mentioned why, or at least with the PGA Tour anyway. The Dada 5000 Kimbo Slice fight was a disaster from Jump Street, and everybody just kind of wanted to see the car wreck in live. And then, wow, kind of the same thing. When Women of Wrestling was on for, I don't know, a cup of coffee. Is it a seasonal thing? Are they still on?
It's a seasonal thing. I believe that AJ is still working on it backstage as a producer, but I think they do like tapings in advance.
Yeah. So, I mean, the issues are all over the place with that promotion anyway. But Impact, if they get Freddie Prinze, doesn't have the option, doesn't have the problems financially at that point. It just comes down to, okay, and the content is perfect. It's just they need to get a better TV deal. So whether that's CBS, whether that's Spike, wherever, they're good, but they need to actually get and advocate for those deals, which, they've been kind of just, I feel like they're just too content almost with being the small fish in a big pond because they failed at being the big fish in a small pond through just terrible management prior.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just, they have their ducks in a row now. I think now's the time to make the big move.
Yeah, I feel like at this point they're in a comfortable spot from a presentation standpoint and definitely a quality standpoint that they definitely could try and pursue that again. But again, being partnered with Anthem Entertainment, they have found their comfort zone. They seem to have a rather decent business relationship. They promote and once again reestablish the partnership with NJPW to a degree. They talk about Invicta. So I feel like right now they're just, still maybe in a stage of rebuilding, but I feel that they definitely could pursue something further. And if Paramount is now what Spike TV used to be, if they could try and work something with that, I feel Spike TV was their best exposure to a market because most people knew what that channel was. And then they had that stint where they were on stuff like Pop and Destination America. Nobody could find those things. And yes, I do agree, Jerry. The fact that Santino Marella's back as a 40 figure.
Santino. Oh, but for those who don't even know this, so Santino Marella came back, and
I did see that. Yeah.
He's not even a wrestler, so he's not even wrestling, right?
No, he's not.
He's literally Santino Marella as a director of authority. So he's coming out as like this NCIS looking dude, coming out with a badge and shit. There's a new sheriff in towns. I'm like, all right, yep. No, this is the way to go with the Santino character. Dude, unscripted Santino is already 10 times funnier than anything he said in the WWE like the last 5 years of his run. Like,
you son of my gun!
This
oh my
shit
god, I'm
was
so glad he still
hilarious.
says that.
I did like the hunky tonky meter though.
The honky tonky meter was goated. Yeah.
Fair
Honky
enough.
tonky meter was before he was like super scripted.
Yeah, about to say. I wonder how much that bet. Well, anyway, respect his authority. All right, good stuff. Bottom line, Impact. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you expand. Congratulations to Mickie James. Now we'll see who truly leads the Knockouts division and women's wrestling going forward, passing off the torch or taking it from her. Will it be Masha? Only time will tell. I'm still holding out for Deonna Purrazzo. So as we continue talking about Impact Wrestling, here's a fun little segment that I thought was a great idea since we are talking about how Impact has really gotten in a better light. But we've known TNA, Impact Wrestling now for the last 20 years. We've seen how many great people, male and female, rise for this company and go on to other things, whether bigger, better, maybe smaller, and come back. So this is a fun little segment. Let's talk about a Mount Rushmore. I know this is going to be subjective based on everyone's knowledge base and what they might know. But again, when you think about all-time greats from TNA, like Sting, Jeff Jarrett, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. I mean, AJ Styles has to be like number one. And salute to you, Pork Radio, Mike T. So let's go ahead, go around, and get everybody's thoughts on if you could create a Mount Rushmore for TNA Impact Wrestling, who would they be? James, I'm going to start with you.
So this is a tricky one because you don't. I don't know how you would. I don't know how you do that because you would have to have two different ones. You'd have to have the WWE guard that came in to get the popularity for Impact. So immediately I'm thinking, Kurt Angle, Christian, and Sting immediately would be on that Rushmore. But you always got to go with the original guard that got it. And also, I can't forget about Jarrett, to be fair, as well. So, Kurt, Jarrett, Sting, Christian Cage. And then you think of the actual young guard that was carrying the company on their back with their matches and just getting better on screen. Joe, Daniels, Kaz, Styles, right? I when I think of, and it was apropos for TNA at this point, when I think of Impact, you think of like two different Mount Rushmores. The stars that came in to get that name recognition, and then the stars that were there from day one that carried the company on the back. Like, that's how I always separate the Rushmores. I guess you could have Mount Rushmore 1, Mount Rushmore 2. That's my cop out. Fight me.
I mean, you know what? That's brilliant. I mean, if you want to go even further, I would have asked you, okay, so where does that leave the X division? Where does that leave the Knockouts division? When the Knockouts division wasn't even around when the company's first inception, but you've seen how long and how far and how deep this division has grown from a quantity and quality standpoint of talent that have really found and defined themselves. One particular hardcore country, Mickie James found herself in Impact TNA more than anywhere else. Big G, again, you watch WWE more heavily nowadays, but you also watch AEW, but you do know several names and faces that have been through Impact or TNA. So if you could come up with some sort of Mount
absolutely. I mean, I did watch Impact, not when it first started, but there were DVDs out there and stuff like that, and I did watch all that. For me, I mean, James had good ones. I'm going to kind of mix it up. I'm going to have, obviously, AJ Styles on there. He was pretty much there since day one. Jeff Jarrett, obviously. Always got to have Jeff Jarrett on there.
Damn right, he's a horseman.
I know.
All right, I will go with Kurt Angle. He did help the company a lot. And I'm going to go with Samoa Joe. So AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett, Samoa Joe, and Kurt Angle.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. That honestly was the first four that came to my mind. But then I think about the X division that, again, reignited my love for cruiserweight-based wrestling with no limits, unbelievable dynamics. I also think about those nowadays versus what I've seen in the past. And then, again, I think about the knockouts. It's almost like if I were to do a Mount Rushmore, I honestly would probably pick one from each foundation and
Okay.
maybe a tag team. Because honestly, when you look at Impact Wrestling TNA, they have always kind of set a bar or standard for one of those type of genres to take themselves even further in another company, whether WWF, WWE, WCW, Ring of Honor, what now is AEW, NJPW, you name it. So honestly, for me, and I'm going back all the way to the Asylum days, I got to go with Jeff Jarrett. He was the foundation of the company, TNA, NWA. Controversy about what he is now and how I feel about him now. I can't argue that. For the guy that just did everything. He was the heavyweight champion. He was X Division. He was this company, period, and found himself through there. You got to put the phenomenal AJ Styles there. Now, for me, though, I'm going to add a knockout. And when I think about knockouts, I'm thinking about all the way back to the beginning. You had Awesome Kong. You had Taylor Wilde. You had Gail Kim. You had Mickie James, who's been through 3 generations of this knockouts roster, it seems. And yes, folks, I'm aware of the beautiful people, and I've always been a fan of Tara. But for me, when I think about the knockouts, I'm going to go with Gail Kim. Not only is she a former knockouts tag and knockouts champion, she literally manages the direction and the talent influx of the knockouts division. It's because of her we finally got Killer Kelly. Heyo. So for me, because Gail Kim has done it all, and now she's even doing more with talent going forward, I got to put Gail Kim there. And as far as the fourth one, well, I want to put someone like Samoa Joe there, who's been a dominant force for the longest time in this company. I got to give some love to the tag teams. And when it comes to tag teams, there's always one tag team that stood out to me, and that was Beer Money. And you think about James Storm and Wildcat Harris in America's Most Wanted, and then they became Beer Money. And you think about the multiple times that James Storm and Bobby Roode, before it became the It Factor, the multiple tag team title runs. For me, they were the tag team of TNA Impact Wrestling, despite the fact Motion Machine Guns have been around for the longest time and still are. So for me, that's my Mount Rushmore. A little bit of everything. Jeff Jarrett, AJ Styles, Gail Kim, and Beer Money. That being said, Stat Boy, if you could make a Mount Rushmore for Impact TNA, who would you have on it?
Well, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but
I think it's gonna be
Renegade and I think Renegade and I are probably going to pretty much have this almost the same ones, because we would watch the beginning months of TNA at the old Casa. So obviously we have to put AJ in there. You know, Dory's in the room too.
Hi, Dory.
Hi, guys.
We all know that. And ironically, there will be an interesting stat about these 4 men. So AJ Given, the phenomenal one, that's how it all started. One of his rivals, I can't go with Samoa Joe. I'm going to go with his other big rival, Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel. He was legendary, becoming a tag champion and, of course, an X Division champion, but I don't think he ever got the heavyweight title. And again, at the end of this little rant, I'll give you the reason why. Kurt Angle, Given, legend, champion, and I got to go with Jarrett as well. So I'm going AJ, Daniels, Angle, and Jarrett. And the reason, all 4 of them have held a title 6 times. So AJ had the X Division title 6 times. Daniels had the tag championship 6 times. Angle was the heavyweight champion 6 times. And Jarrett was the NWA champion when it was NWA TNA. So six titles is a guaranteed on the mountain. I also will agree with James, but I want to say, if you can have more than one mountain face, like one of the legends, one of the tag teams, and one of the knockouts, I'm okay with that too.
All right, very good. And looks like a lot
that
of people.
That stat was Heb Man approved, because that
Thank you.
I didn't expect. That was crazy good. That's crazy good stats work there.
He is what his name implies, folks. Simple as that.
That's
and
really
it looks
good.
like a lot of the comments here, JJ, are implying a lot of the same names as well. So, that way you got something else?
Can Dory Lou do a quick one?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go for it.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Dory. How are you? Lovely to see
Tired.
you.
Just home from work.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I get that. Go
AJ
ahead.
Styles, because I'm sorry. I'm like one of his #1 fans. AJ Styles, phenomenal one all the way. We'll go with the legend Kurt Angle, Sting, and Mickie James.
Oh, nice. I like
Okay.
that. Generational bound. Staying the icon. I miss that TNA theme so damn bad. Have found Doy. All
you.
right. JJ, I saved you for last on this one because, again, we talk about, how long you and Jeff go back with some of these boys. I'm curious if some of them would be on your Mount Rushmore, but Stapley also implied that maybe you would have some of the same, if not the same, Rushmore as him. So take it away, man. What would be your Mount Rushmore of NWA, TNA, Impact Wrestling, all the above?
See, to quote the Jeff Meacham shirt, see, here's the thing.
Ding.
Buy the shirt, by the way.
Buy all the
But
shirts.
I came into this and I was like, okay, I've got my 4. This is golden. I'm ready to go.
Right.
Then James had to open his mouth and do 2 mountains, and I'm like, fuck this shit. It's like now my head is starting to turn. It's like, okay, there's so many people, more people than I think that the average fan would realize, that made a, pun intended, serious impact in the company, that are at least worthy of consideration where you wouldn't normally kick their name around.
Right.
AJ Styles and Jeff Jarrett, I think, are the 2 givens when it comes to especially TNA era Mount Rushmore. Arguably the greatest NWA World Heavyweight Champion and the greatest X Division champion in TNA history. Then where do you go from there? Becomes the $1 million question.
Exactly.
You want to talk about tag teams. You've got AMW, you've got Beer Money, you've got Team 3D that was left off of James's Mount Rushmore. But bigger than any of those teams together, I think you got to go with the Cowboy James Storm as a solo because of the impact that he made in both AMW and Beer Money, and when everybody thought Robert Roode was going to become champion first, it was the Cowboy James Storm that did it instead.
Sorry about your damn luck.
Yeah, it set up Roode's heel turn like a week later, which was stupid the way it was executed, but... And then you go and you start thinking about the women, and leaving a guy like Steen or Kurt Angle off, I don't feel... I'm not trying to insult their legacies, but let's be real. They had legacies before coming into TNA wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You go and make an Attitude Era Mount Rushmore, you can seriously argue about Kurt Angle. Especially Ruthless Aggression Era, Kurt Angle.
Bar none.
Steen, you want to talk about the NWA, you want to talk about WCW, you got Steen regardless. Period. So when it comes to that 4th spot for me, I'm torn between either a name that I didn't hear anyone on the panel say, but I believe I saw in the chat room, the Monster Abyss.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or Awesome Kong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because as much as Gail Kim was the genesis of the Knockouts division, Gail Kim would not have been as successful as she was without her rival Kong.
Yep.
Yeah.
It very much was a Hulkamania scenario. Hogan would not have been as successful without Sheik and Piper. Gail would not have been able to get the division over without Kong. Period.
Well said. Again, one of the most immortal female rivalries in women's wrestling. Awesome Kong and Gail Kim. You put it up there with Trish Stratus and Lita. One made the other. And
exactly.
Both furthered women's wrestling in that company, if not the industry. And again, you talk about, names, honorable mentions. I mean, you definitely gave one that I was figured of, which was the Monster Abyss, with how many crazy, innovative ideas he brought forward in this company, what he put his body through. I know, chat, we see, of course. That's hey, good to see you. And follow her, folks. She does weekly Impact Wrestling reviews. TNA Christian Cage, I see mentioned here. I see Loki. I see Ron Killings, aka our Truth, or our Kuwait. People did say Daniel. So again, the beauty of Impact Wrestling TNA, I always call it like the beacon, the mecca, the center of. We call ourselves the multiverse. I would call Impact Wrestling TNA the center of the wrestling industry. You go through there or you make yourself there. You could talk about countless names in the two biggest companies in people's eyes across the world. They went through or they somehow know about TNA Impact Wrestling and have to thank them for a portion of their career, if not where they stand now. Even if they weren't even in it, I still feel like there's people that probably would have wanted to go through it because, again, the fact you were able to find yourself, it was truly the alternative, something different. It led to so much in this industry that we have to thank for, including a ton of the talent. So, bar none, when it comes to a Mount Rushmore, it's always subjective, and you can always come up with multiple tiers, X Division tag, knockouts, heavyweights, legends, even management. I mean, again, we just lost Don West. He was the voice of TNA and WA, and it's that voice that draws you in, that immerses you in the action, if nothing else, to the point that, okay, maybe I want to learn about these talents. You start somewhere, but when it comes to TNA Impact Wrestling, a lot of people really had to be thankful for what they went through there. Yeah, JJ, I saw your hand up for a moment.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on what you were saying and what Emmanuel said. He brings up a great point that Christian Cage would not have gotten to the level that he did if it hadn't been for his run in NWA TNA. He was literally going to be the Marty Jannetty for the rest of his career, being in Edge's shadow. But man, going to TNA did such great things for him, and he was able to break out. He was able to show Vince McMahon and WWE what his value is, something that Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, just went through this last year and trying to show them what her value truly is. And then I wanted to touch on Darren G, the man whose name you're thinking of is Primetime Elix Skipper.
I even knew that.
Yeah, man. Nobody will forget that freaking crazy ass Hurricane.
I know Jeff won't. He talks about it all the time. The way SoCal Val was gripping into his skin, drew blood. She had such a grip on him as that was happening. So
that man was fortunate enough to not misstep and literally break his leg or have a terrible fall. I still can't believe that was actually possible. And I mean, again, one of my all-time favorite matches, Triple Threat, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles. I still go back and rewatch that, despite it being the six-sided ring. And again, this company, when it had the six-sided ring, nobody else was doing that in the world of professional wrestling, sports entertainment. And even then, why it was a crazy concept that caused more confusion and probably more bruises. TNA Impact Wrestling carried that for quite a bit of time.
And I loved it. It, like you said, it's what made it stand out. They took the lucha ring from AAA and brought it stateside to the mainstream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, by the way, there was like a debate between Conrad and Eric. Here's where I disagree with Eric. He said, I didn't realize there was a distribution sale. How do you not know there was toys sold to the six-sided ring? Like, how do you not know this?
What?
Like, there was tons of freaking toys sold and the reason they were sold is because of the six-sided ring.
I think Renegade had one, didn't you?
I did. Back in the days when I was a huge figure collector and would go to Toys R Us, K-Beats Toys, Target, Walmart, Kmart, looking for the newest action figures to add to my collection. I had a six-sided ring.
There you go.
Nice.
And Colin put up a point here. Pluto TV has a 24/7 Impact TNA channel. It's a free app on pretty much any streaming service. So if anybody wanted to get a little exposure on what this company was versus what they do now, while they still have that consistency of a crazy, abnormal at times product, get a little taste of who did go through there, a familiar face, and like, oh, okay, this is where they once were. I wonder who's there now, and are they still doing the same thing? Sometimes people make a lot of comparisons to talent based on who they know in a different company to actually try and connect with talent in another company. Christopher Rod's prime example. God bless him. He was part of the Simply Predicted panel for Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill, and he did make a lot of WWE analogies because that's where he knows them now, but he wasn't sure about them during their TNA time, nor about the talent in Impact Wrestling. Yet he made comparisons to Trey Miguel and Ricochet. Now I want to see that one-on-one match. Damn you.
Forbidden Door 2.
Seriously.
I was gonna say, are we gonna do a Forbidden Door 2 fantasy booking this year, or what are we doing?
We could talk about it as we get a little bit deeper in the year, but yeah, I'm totally down to do it again. And we can, if we do it again, we can open up to not just, active talent of the companies, but we can do like legend cards too. We'll maybe do like a full-on legends booking.
Ooh, okay.
Again, you figure about the names we've lost in this industry. If they were around now, the type of matches and storylines you could have. Again, China, Eddie Guerrero, just name a couple of the voices we've lost, like Don West, as I said earlier. Again,
Jerry just named our show.
Door 2,
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah.
Boogaloo. Wait, Boogaloo or Bugaloo? Did you make that botch typo on purpose? What are you doing?
Bugaloo, baby. Bugaloo. Electric Bugaloo. I like it.
All right, not copyright. All right. Well, again, respect TNA, respect Impact Wrestling. If you can, folks, try and keep up with it. With that being said, great conversation, great discussion, great picks all around. Folks, we're going to take a short commercial break now, and when we return, we're going to talk a little bit about AEW. Stay tuned.
Killing time and battery just in case it's Jericho.
For some other awesome surprise
There you
that I
go.
got to speak on before.
Denny
Salcedo.
We're going to use that shit for sure. Highlights of the year, 2023.
Thanks a lot, Excalibur. It's great being back in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it is, Tony!
In welcoming our next guest.
Yes! Here they come. You called it. You called it. Adam Cole, baby!
That promo ruled, by the way.
I called that shit. He did during the pre-show. Oh, shit. God damn, we up here, Jay. Look at this shit. Anyway. Wait for it, wait for it. During commercial, waiting for Brian to come out. How you doing so far, brother?
This is awesome.
Right?
Just for you, Noah.
Here's gonna hit him. Always gonna appreciate it. I'm a hater for life.
She is the AEW Women's World Champion, Jamie Hayter.
How about that pop for Noah's girl, Andre?
Katie's gonna hate, and I'm hating. Be on my way, every piece when you are gone. Really makes you rest. Don't you cry no more. Now what for real, man? Love them or hate them, they're our boys, but they're the Bucks, man. Man, they are all hands on deck. Look at this shit. Don, frickin' Brandon, friggin' Michael, Nagasaki, is that his name? Yeah, hands on deck, brother. Here we go.
Dude, I was just rocking out.
Nagasaki. Nagasaki.
Oh.
Nagasaki, get it?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Oh, I love professional wrestling. I love seeing the enjoyment. Also, yeah, I'm a hater. For life.
Nagasaki, he was in Squid Game, wasn't he?
I have no idea. Anyway, welcome back, everybody, to the 1 year anniversary of Open Mic Night as we continue the engagement, entertainment, and festivities. As I said earlier, we're going to transition now from Impact Wrestling to a little bit of a talk about AEW. And while we're acknowledging the doctor, all the haters, of course, we're acknowledging our champion. Damn right, Big G. Let's go ahead and talk about, in JJ's simple words, that bitch. Jade Cargill, the undefeated, might I add, only 1X TBS champion, has now been the TBS champion for over 1 year, 373 days. And while we want to take a moment and say congratulations on her continued success as she continues to grow and showcase, this is an interesting, yes, let's applause. We need to also consider again, does the TBS championship overshadow maybe the AEW Women's World Championship, considering the amount of title changes, championship reigns, tenures, injuries, showcasing challengers thereof? Does one feel more important than the other? And right now, does it feel like what you would consider a secondary title feel like the title for the women's division? Statboy, what's your thoughts when it comes to the AEW Women's World Championship versus the TBS Championship? It's always said that the champion makes the championship, but Jade Cargill has been the TBS champion, while AEW has been trying to figure out the AEW Women's World Champion. So which one do you think is more prestigious? And if the TBS title is more prestigious, in your way, how can AEW make the AEW Women's World Championship more important and look forward to than the TBS title?
My thing with the TBS title is it is a cheap plug for the station. It's the corporate money people. It's like, oh, we want and these are the TBS, these are the executives at TBS. Oh, we'll put your product on the show, but we want our name on it. Okay. If there's so much of a problem with the AEW Women's World Championship, then combine the belts and let Jade Cargill, let her be the dominant champion. If she is doing better than the current AEW Women's World Champion, who is
Jamie Hayter,
make Jade have that belt because she's had it longer. She's probably, and again, I'm not an AEW guy, she's probably more entertaining than the AEW World Champion, the World Women's Champion. She's probably got a better character than the AEW World Women's Champion. So there's your problem right now. Okay. Yeah, we get it. AEW is on TBS. Okay. TBS does not need to establish themselves because they've been doing it since the WCW days with Ted Turner. You know, I mean, TBS has been around since the 70s. They don't need to have a title. When you think of TBS, do you think of a world champion? No. I don't know what else is on TBS right now other than AEW. So minus the brand name, just make it one title. Because if she's doing better than the other, give Jade the single belt. Combine the belts, make her the full AEW Women's Champion if she's that dominant and that good.
Okay. Big G, Step Boy brought up an interesting point when it came to presentation, and that is character. And I saw what you did when Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, don't forget it, was on that little commercial. So, in your take, do you think that character is more important here for the champion, and does that help the champion more when it comes to the presentation? Does the character behind the title make the title more important than the actual athlete or competitor? What's your thoughts towards this? And do you think the TBS title is more prestigious than the AEW Women's World Championship right now?
Oh, so here's the thing. You know,
buy the shirt.
Buy the shirt.
Buy all the shirts.
So when AEW first came around, they had the world title, the AEW or the women's title, and the tag titles.
Yes.
Here we are 3 years later, and it's WWE again with all these different belts now. We have the World Trios title belts. We have the All Atlantic title belt. You know, the TNT title belt, I wasn't so mad because the mid-carders needed a title. But now you have this All Atlantic title, which is a knockoff of the European title. And, you know, they bring in Jade Cargill, and, you know, nobody really likes her. She was very green in the ring when she first started. And here she is now, still undefeated, the only TBS champion, women's champion in history. And, I mean, Jade Cargill has come a long way. She's gotten a lot better on the mic, I would say. She's gotten a little bit better in the ring. But, like, at this point, who is going to beat her? You know? And Statboy made a good point. You know, they should unify the titles at this point and have, I wouldn't say Jade Cargill be the champ, though. I would have Jamie Hayter beat her. Mm-hmm. She is your current women's world champion. That is the main title of AEW. The TBS title is the secondary title to the women's title.
Correct.
And so, if, like I said, if they were to ever merge the titles and have that person beat Jade Cargill, have it be Jamie Hayter, or for the love of God, turn Britt face and have Britt be the one to beat Jade Cargill. And I know people want Mercedes to come to AEW right now, but she's not going to. She's doing her thing in New Japan right now. She wanted to be in Japan for the longest time. Even before WWE, she wanted to be in Japan. Go watch Broken Skull Sessions.
Yep.
So it's definitely not going to be Mercedes. So it's either I said Jamie Hayter, Britt, even Saraya could beat her at one point if needed be. If not, then fine. But at this point, you know, people are calling her Jadeberg and the female version Goldberg. She's undefeated and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. You know, it's in wrestling, anything happens. So that's my take on it. That's all I have to say.
That's fair enough. I also pose this question to you because I do think about one person that was, I feel like, marked in to beat Jade Cargill. And we talk about character and development. She's still injured, but again, if she didn't get injured, I gotta imagine, I gotta wonder if they're still gonna go pull the trigger when she comes back. What about Chris Statlander?
Hey, thank you for mentioning that. Totally forgot about Statlander.
Yep.
You know, she was one of the ones to face Jade Cargill, and then she, like you said, she got injured again. And Chris Statlander's another one with character. You know, she's come a long way since she first started out in AEW. You know, she's what's her catchphrase? Like the world's favorite alien or something like that. I don't know.
Galaxy's greatest alien. Now
Thank you.
more than woman.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Chris Statlander would be another terrific choice when she comes back, and hopefully, I don't know. I feel like she's injury prone too. So, JJ,
floor is yours.
Just really quickly, then you can throw to whoever you want to go to next, because I'm sure you were probably saving me for last, knowing how I adore Jade.
Exactly.
But just in regards to the Chris Statlander thing, I think it's interesting that point got brought up this evening, because there was actually a tweet that Jade responded to earlier today regarding that. Now, the author of the tweet has since deleted their tweet, so I can't read his original one, but it was something to the effect of Chris Statlander coming for Jade for the belt.
Right.
But Jade replied, and this tweet was as of 5 hours ago. She said, "You fans think you know everything. Stat was never coming for my belt. Athena was. She was gunning for the main. That was clearly stated in promos. Watch the product, you idiots."
Yeah, you know what? She was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, because Athena came in and was going after Jade, and Chris. Yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, she's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she was going after Britt even after losing to Britt at AEW in a
Yep.
tremendous match that caused Orange Cassidy to be more emotional than we ever fought. So
Right. Yeah.
that's a fair point.
The only thing Chris ever did was come save Athena with Jade.
Exactly.
Yep.
Impromptu tag team match that was sure to come before she got injured.
Yep. Thank you, Jade Cargill, for that. Thank you for putting me in my place.
Well, again, it's like the fans think they know the industry when the workers themselves are the one that literally are giving us the industry. Again, James, again, we talk about it all the time. One of the biggest criticisms, and you and I, of course, still wholeheartedly watch AEW every week, is still the women's division. While I feel they finally have a good foundation of established talent, characters, I feel like for the longest time, they've been trying to figure out particularly the AEW Women's World Championship. We talk about the champions, okay? It started out with Lito Riho from Joshi Pro, and of course, that was heavily guided by Kenny Omega. And lately, I feel like Kenny Omega has not been the influence lately behind the women's division. Well, I think it's kind of in a better spot. I've heard BJ Whitmer has actually been working more with the women for the matches particularly. In fact, he was heavily involved in the Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter match AEW in Full Gear that some literally touted as the best women's match AEW put on to date. And then you had a card sheet to follow that. So we talk about the champions. There was Rico, there was Nyla Rose, there was Hikaru Shida, there was Dr. Britt Baker, DMC. And then there was, of course, La Mera Thunder Rosa, injury. And then we had a vacated champion, of course, Toni Storm. And now we got Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, original grown AEW talent, has definitely developed herself, though, this last year. We've already seen how strong of a presence she brings to the ring with her first defense against Hikaru Shida. With Jade Cargill, though, you can literally write a list as long as list of Jericho with the people that she beat. But how many of those people are significant to her title run? And does that actually affect her or the title's presentation? As someone alluded to, yeah, maybe she is becoming Jay Burke. She's almost undefeated at 50-0. She's almost at 50-0. So, James, your thoughts. Do you think the TBS title still at this point is still more prestigious? And if so, what does AEW need to do with the AEW Women's World Championship now it's on Jamie Hayter? Is merging the titles the way to go, or what's your take?
Well, before we do that, we got a kitty on site. And there he is.
Cameo.
Cat.
No, thank you.
Solo shot it. Solo shot the kitty.
Oh, good grief.
Killer cat.
Oh, there
All
he
right.
goes.
There's the cat body.
Oh, there goes
and
the cat.
The cat's gone. The cat's like, I'm not going to show us up. I see you.
All right. The words of Danny DeVito's Penguin, just the pussy I was looking for.
We have there's a cat that I know that looks like Robert De Niro because he's got squinty eyes, and so every time I ever see him, I'm just like anytime the cat meows, I just be like, "Are you talking to me? You talking to me?" No. So
anyway, now we return back to our regularly scheduled programming. So, James, your thoughts on the TBS versus AEW Women's World Championship? Is the TBS title still more prestigious considering Jade Cargill has yet to lose, let alone lose it? And if so, what can AEW do with Jamie Hayter now as the AEW Women's World Champion? Is she the champion, maybe, that the AEW Women's World Championship has needed?
I don't know, because for me, I always liked the idea of the network titles. I wouldn't be if they were demanding it, but the AEW just did it, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Just you better pray and hope that you keep your network deals. Let's hope.
2024.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I don't know. Like I look at it and I'm just like, okay, this is cool. I feel like Jade is at a point now where I don't know if she should be losing to Chris now. I don't know now. I feel like she should actually be a stepping stone because I feel like the blooms kind of fell off the rose a bit. I mean, for my money, there should be legit challengers for Jade's title here, and there is plenty to be had. And Jade's that much of a draw now that, yes, would it make the belt look more important? To an extent, although Jamie Hayter's been, I feel like, taking care of that problem lately.
Damn right.
With the matches she's been having. She just needs to have more television title matches for the AEW World title, but that's just me. Because the matches that I think she could have, I wish they kept Kayla Rossi around because I think that could have been a potential banger. Camille's another one from the NWA. Bring her in. Have her win. If you don't want to give her the AEW World title because you want to give Jamie Hayter that time in the sun, her winning the NWA the Women's World title and beating Camille's streak, if she's still the champion, I don't know if she still is, but
She's still 1X at over 500 plus days. I'm calling it now. She's going to beat Jazz's run, but anyway, continue.
That's my point. So, like, have Jade and her, like, if you want to give her that W, have a dream match at Forbidden Door between Camille and her. That would be money to me. I would, as far as other dream matches, I'm thinking like her and Savannah Evans from Impact. Yeah. You could also do her and Taya Valkyrie from Impact. Make Jade just this fucking juggernaut belt collector type thing. Because would she be overshadowing the title? It depends on how you book the world title in AEW. Not for nothing, but when FTR was on their freaking run of a lifetime, AEW tag titles were featured prominently between Swerve and Our Glory and the Acclaimed. And what were tremendous matches, by the way. So, no, Mandy will show up in AEW, but I doubt she ends Jade's run.
Hot take.
Doubt she ends it. I feel, although I know Renegade's going to be happier than a kid in a candy store, and I ain't talking about that type of friendly candy. There you go. But yeah, I think there's a lot you could do with Jade. I think her fighting jobbers at this point you need to start bringing in people from other companies at this point to actually give her a challenge. Like open up that Forbidden Door and sign people to one-off match contracts and shit, especially for pay-per-view and like TV specials. I think that's the way to go with Jade for right now, because I think as good as Jade is, the times we've seen her acceptable is like Battle of the Belts, lesser-known shows. We never really see her on pay-per-view. Except for like Nyla Rose, which was and then recently that freaking crazy counter she did for the Jaded. I forget who her opponent was now.
It was Sky Blue.
Sky Blue, right?
All right.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people that they need to, I think, give Jade to. If you want to then go with Statlander after all that time, then I'm fine with that, but I think right now is a bad time to try to take the belt off her when you don't even have a plan B after this,
Fair point. I mean, JJ, I know that, again, Jade is that bitch. She is probably your women's champ right now. I'm sure that Mandy Rose hot take would literally be like, don't make me choose. But I look at the AEW women's ecosystem, not just on the TV product, but I also think about, their development, Dark Elevation. We literally just name dropped Sky Blue. She's not officially even signed to the company. I still have yet to see all the graphic. That's a damn crime, in my opinion. I know someone brought Red Velvet. That was her first rivalry when Jade Cargill was introduced in AEW. And it was involved in a mixed tag team match with Cody and Red Velvet versus Shaq and Jade. Shaq literally was by Jade on day one. Put that in perspective, folks. How's that for mainstream media attention? As far as, the Women's World Championship, Jamie Hayter, she just started, but I feel like the seeds have already been planted since the last Full Gear Scrum, that they're going to do some point Hayter versus Baker. It has to be the inevitable big first championship program to put Jamie Hayter forward. And while I look at the other ones at the top of the division right now, Toni Storm, Saraya, Hikaru Shida, maybe turning heel, I do wonder, okay, is that all you got then from a development standpoint? Kida Rossi, fair shout. I don't know what she's doing right now. She's been working out, but I haven't seen her on Dark or Dark Elevation. When it comes to the TBS title, again, you all said it perfectly. I think about TV championship. So what is TV? Marketing, exposure, showcasing. To have Jade Cargill defend this on AEW turf against people from other companies, though, I think that'd be very good crossover interpromotional booking. I mean, you brought out some key names that I was definitely thinking about, though, James. Camille and Smith Evans were at the top of that, particularly. So, JJ, I feel like it's safe to say that you, again, not just because you're a fan of her, but you probably definitely agree that the TBS title right now is more prestigious, and to do something with that versus the Women's World Championship, put them on equal ground, might be easier than just merging the two. But what's been your takes in Jade showcasing versus the West of the women's division? And how should they try and adapt that to maybe the AEW Women's World Championship? Or should Jade maybe be the one that's the only champion in the AEW Women's Division overall? What's your take?
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Jade Cargill for surpassing Hikaru Shida's record with the women's title.
That's a fair point.
And considering how many people out there hate on Jade because of the Jadeberg streak and how green she still is, deal. That's all I got to say about that one.
Give glasses, deal with it.
You look at that exchange that she had a couple weeks ago for that finishing setup, from on the shoulders, dropping down, catching her, jaded, like that whole set of moves. And I was just like, God damn, girl. Like, I'm already impressed by Jade. I think that's an understatement of the year. Understatement of the year award for 2023. J.J. Williams is impressed with Jade Cargill. But seriously, the fact that she was able to pull that off as green as she still is, and the way everyone still tries to run down in her ability, I thought was just simply phenomenal.
Can't argue that.
But I've been saying for the longest time that Jade is almost at the point with the TBS championship where they need to pull the trigger X Division style and cash in plan B. Trade the title in for a shot at the world title. Don't try to unify the two belts. Keep them separate. You can always do another TBS title tournament to crown a new champion. Then you get the belt off of Jade without her losing it. Then her only loss becomes, does she win the world title or does she lose when she challenges?
Good point.
So now you haven't cheapened the TBS title. You haven't weakened Jade's presentation. And she goes straight in for the AEW women's title. Noah, I know you're a hater. I know how much you love Jamie. But I think that you can even agree with me that she's lacking some in her character presentation.
I'm not gonna
She
argue
needs Britt to cut a promo. She needs Britt to get herself over.
Right.
Jade has the baddies, but she's got star power written all over her face. She's able to get herself over without the baddies, and she's able to get those girls over as well.
Oh, she has one baddie now.
Yeah. Now she does, but you know.
Layla Gray.
Yeah.
So it's just like you look at that, and character is so important in the world of professional wrestling. That's your marketability.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, you're going to get merchandise if you've got a good character. You're going to get the action figures if you've got a character. You know, you think about all the WWE action figures that they did over the years of Rey Mysterio and his superhero outfits. Could you imagine if they did a line of Jade in her cosplays?
Oh, good grief.
Yeah.
It'd be a collector set.
For real, they would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, that She-Hulk one
Jade
was on
is
fire.
Storm, Jade is She-Hulk. Just, it would be crazy the amount of money that they would make off of those. But that's what I think needs to happen, because I do feel that the TBS championship is getting to that point where it's more prestigious. Yes, it's only been around for a little over a year.
Right.
Jade's the inaugural champion.
Right.
But you think about the fact that a lot of the runs with the women's title are short runs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, few months at best. You know, Riho was 133 days, Nyla Rose 101. Tony Storm 76, Thunder Rosa 172. You know, the two longest reigns are Hikaru Shida, obviously, and then Dr. Britt Baker. Let's do it one more time.
DMD. Don't forget it.
You know, and that's over 3 years. 7 champions, 1 vacancy due to injury, crowned an interim champion. All that just really weakens the championship, in my opinion. And then out of all those women, honestly, the only one with a really over gimmick, whether we like it or not, is Britt. All the others are just kind of lackluster, and I speak from a guy who hasn't seen that much of the old product. Like, I'm not really familiar with Riho. I think I've seen her pop in since I've been watching for a match or two. You know, Thunder Rosa, decent gimmick, but just injury prone before she could really get the ball rolling in her feud. And I think she relied way too heavily on Britt to get herself over.
Mm.
You know, that feud with Britt made Thunder Rosa, at least mainstream.
Yeah.
You know, Tony Storm was the latest WWE cast-off, came in right place, right time, was able to capitalize on the injury.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
I would use the belt as a plan B situation. And, I mean, she's, spoiler alert, Dark Elevation, she goes up to 49-0. So, it's like, I feel like once she hits 50, I've defeated 50 of the baddest bitches Tony Khan could send my way, and I'm still on top of the mountain. I am still that bitch. I want you, Jamie Hayter.
Revolution. The revolution of the women's division. One bitch at the top.
Yeah.
And maybe
you know, Ricky Starks' music says it. The revolution is televised.
Yeah. Bam, bam. It's interesting, though, you did talk about that whole Plan B scenario, and more so relinquishing the title versus losing your undefeated streak. Big G, you remember Black Gold NXT, right? Asuka went on an undefeated streak as the NXT Women's Champion for over, 500 some odd days, and just ended up vacating the NXT Women's Championship and going up to the other
main roster.
The other roster.
Yeah.
And then she faced Charlotte and lost on WrestleMania.
I believe Paige did that too. She was the NXT Women's Champion, and Paige relinquished the title going to the main roster.
Yeah, after beating AJ Lee for the Diva Butterfly Championship.
Yep.
But
I know, right?
yeah, better off forget that title than anything else. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think about, okay, what makes the championship has to be the champion, right? What makes the champion? Not just in-ring athleticism, but that apparel, that connection you make with the fans. You're selling, not just, your physical appearance, not just your incredible in-ring athleticism. Can you tell a story? Can you cut a promo? Jay does check all those boxes. And why Jamie Hayter does have a little bit more actual experience than her, Jamie Hayter's solo promo on the Road to. It's one of those things where I feel Jamie Hayter can sell herself if she doesn't speak as much and makes it feel more special when she does speak. Like if one time she finally takes the mic from Britt Baker, pulled like a Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman type dynamic one time where he took the mic from Paul Heyman. If Jamie Hayter was maybe, showcased more like that, then maybe that could mean more to her character elevation. That's just a sell point for me. I think you had a brief thought, I think.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we gotta remember when Jade first started, and she really didn't get that much of a reaction or pop.
No.
But now look at her now. She even though she's a heel, she's still getting a pop when she comes out.
JJ, what was the pop like? You were there live. You witnessed her live. What was that pop like when she did come out, though, during the post-Dynamite? Now, truth be told, you all did just see a freaking finale of a Best 7 series for the ages. But what was the reaction to Jade like?
It was a pretty insane reaction. I would compare it to, and this may sound a little bit extreme, but she almost caught the same kind of heel pop reaction as the JAS when they came out to Judas. The fans were into Jade.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. So, again, I guess we just got to see what's ahead for the AEW Women's Division 2023. But like I said, after Full Gear, I do feel like it's a new beginning for AEW. And I'm not just talking about the new set, though I think the set's nice. I guess we're just going to have to see how far they take the Baker-Hayter dynamic before tearing it apart and see if they do find that one bitch that beats Jade that elevates the title and them in the process, why Jade still goes on to bigger and better things. But only time will tell. And again, Trinity, at this point, we have no idea what's going to happen with her. And her going to AEW just would be like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Abaddon is the force that no one wants to wreck with. Just saying.
No.
All right.
No. For backstage reasons, to be fucking honest.
Yeah, I'm just saying that no one gonna go in the backstage politics. All right, well, good stuff. Well, folks, we're gonna take another brief commercial break, and when we return, we're gonna go ahead and switch things up again to a different company, WWE, and maybe something else. So stay tuned. Welcome back once again, everybody, to Open Mic Night 1 year anniversary. As you just saw, there's a ton of great content and a lot of great watch-along reactions and commentary to look forward to, along with so much more great material across the Jeff Feature Network multiverse of media here in the first quarter of 2023 too. With that being said, let's go ahead and continue our fun agenda. So, as we all know, the first quarter will culminate, of course, with the wildest weekend of all professional wrestling. And as you see before you, Ring of Honor in their soft launch, of course, they have announced their first pay-per-view 2023. It's the return of the Supercard of Honor. And this time it comes to us from Los Angeles, California, at the Gallant Center Friday, that freaking March. But according to this tweet sent out by SoCal Uncensored, follow them at SoCal Uncensored, with ROH running against SmackDown. It's pretty crazy to think that we can have two pro wrestling shows in the same city at the same time, both draw over 10, look at that digit, folks, 10,000 freaking people. Okay, so literally the choice of don't make me choose. I gotta wonder, what the world are people gonna choose here that are there live, let alone to pick which one to go to? And then let's be honest here. You got a phone, you got a tablet, you got a computer, you got a monitor, you got a TV. You all can watch 5 different things at once if you're that crazy. Hello, me. But I'm sure we're also going to have our own choices too. We, of course, know that WrestleMania Wigan only gives us SmackDown, also gives us the Hall of Fame. Now, chances are that this Supercard of Honor will not overlap the Hall of Fame, but then again, I won't hold my breath. It is Tony Khan we're talking about. So I just want to go around and subtly ask the panel, think about this scenario. When was the last time you could consider yourselves in this scenario where you had two key things at the same time you wanted to either see or go to, and you wasn't sure how to choose, whether it was wrestling or non-wrestling? And in this case, what would be your decision? So, James, let's start with you. This crazy scenario of two shows at the same time, 10,000 people plus live. Crazy to say the least. If you were there in California, which one would you maybe go to? And as far as handling this, how do you handle the situation?
I go to Ring of Honor Best in the World, or I'm sorry, Supercard of Honor. There's the botch.
Supercard of Honor. There it is. Finally got one.
Depends on how they do it. Really? I mean, they've been able to do it before. It's just it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, there's so much wrestling to be had. It's hard to keep up with it all. So you just gotta pick and choose. Pick and choose whatever the hell you want to watch. That's the beauty of it, man. You got a lot of wrestling. You can just pick and choose, but then you can't watch everything, and then you get sad.
Well, Sat Boy, there's a reason why DVR exists, right? So, what's your thoughts on this? I mean, as far as a marketing, let's call it this got to be a competition standpoint. SmackDown and a Ring of Honor pay at the same time. 10,000 people drawn live. Emmanuel, fair take. IWC will pick ROH. Casual fans go to WWE quick. Why again? Let's put it out there, folks. WWE reaches out to everybody, even the most stupid of people that don't even know what is WWE. They are the ones with the biggest exposure, and that goes to their strength, why they are successful. But that being said, Stat Boy, your thoughts on this crazy scenario? I mean, if you were out there in California, what would you do? And can you remember a time maybe where you were torn with two things going on at the same time? How did you pick or choose? What's your thoughts on this?
If I had to choose between SmackDown and ROH, I would go with what I know, and I would go with SmackDown. There were plenty of things back out in California. I mean, the better of two evils, or whatever. And because as much as I would like to go to an ROH show or anything new, I wouldn't know anything about it. I've been so focused and hell bent on WWE because that's the big piece of the pie. It's been WWF, WWE, then we UPW and Battleground and all the independents that we went to. And once I got into a rhythm of shows, I think there actually was a time where we went to an indie show on the same day as the mainstream, and the indie people actually called out the mainstream. Like, it wasn't as big though. Renegade remembers the stories better than I do. And as far as choosing between two different things, I factor in everything: how to get there, how much it costs, which one I like better, flipping a coin, finding rides, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, flip a coin or just, throw a dart at a board, whatever the case might be. Again, Big G, it's the craziest weekend of wrestling every year. Everything's underneath the same setting, the same sun. But the biggest thing happening that weekend clearly is WrestleMania. But are you there just for the WrestleMania? Are you there for all the activities that follow before and after.
Right.
And it truly kicks off with the SmackDown before WrestleMania. But this is
Right.
also for those that are and I truly go to you on this because again, dude, you know Ring of Honor. Hell, you've been to Ring of Honor's homeland. This is Ring of Honor's self-launch pay-per-view 2023. Your thoughts on this crazy scenario and the fact they're going to run this pay-per-view up the SmackDown before WrestleMania? How are you going to
Right.
handle the situation? If you were there live, what would be your
Well,
overall agenda?
Since I've been to 2 of Ring of Honor's major pay-per-views, Best in the World, and I haven't been to WWE Hall of Fame yet, and we know that SmackDown and Hall of Fame run together, I would choose that over Ring of Honor. So, I mean, if I hadn't been to a Ring of Honor show, then yeah, I would pick Supercard of Honor. But since I've already been to 2 shows, I would choose SmackDown in the Hall of Fame over that.
All right. Simple put. JJ, I mean, literally, it's your stomping grounds. You, Jeff, and Cindy, hello, Cindy, are literally going to be out there underneath all of this. I mean, Jeff literally in the opening video talked about you guys are at the Fabulous Forum, and just not even a cup of coffee away, there's the freaking arena where you're going to see freaking WrestleMania. So your thoughts on this? Again, I expect everything to run all at once. These are the 2 things we're talking about particularly, but your thoughts on this crazy business choice per se, and have you decided what you're going to do that day live?
I have not yet decided what I'm going to do that day live because I don't know if I'm going to have the funds to do anything that day live just yet, if we're being 100%.
Fair enough.
I did talk to Jeff a little bit this afternoon and last night after we wrapped up everything. He's seriously contemplating doing both because the bell time for Supercard of Honor is 4:00.
Yeah.
So theoretically speaking, that'll probably end between 7:30. Hall of Fame probably won't start till 8:00.
You forget this is Tony Khan and he goes 5 fucking hours.
To be fair, the main thing doesn't ever exceed beyond 3 hours and 45 minutes, the latest one I can remember. It's the 0 hour that adds more, but I do get what you're saying. Continue, JJ.
I don't think I think Tony Khan is smart enough that he's not going to try to take away from the legends. Otherwise, his bell time would be 8:00. You know, I mean, the fact that you're trying to run a wrestling show at 4:00 in the afternoon in Los Angeles on a Friday already kind of shows how unintelligent Tony Khan is. But we'll just leave that one where it lie.
Fair enough.
I don't think he has a problem competing with the main WWE product, the stars of today, because he wants to show that his stars are better than the stars of today. But I think he's smarter than to go against the legends who have paved the way for him to even have a business to be a part of today.
I feel like I have too much respect for that to do that.
You know, so that's what makes me think that his show will actually wrap up between 7 and 7:30. And as Jeff pointed out, it's only 3 train stops from SoFi to Staples, the Crypt, whatever we're calling it now. So
it'll always be the Staples.
I agree, but for those that are sticklers about the name change, the Crypto.com Arena, the Crypt.
That's a conversation another day.
Personally, if I had the money, as much as I am jonesing to check an ROH show off of my bucket list, when I went to WrestleMania 21 back in 2005, we did not go to the Hall of Fame that year. And that was the year that Hogan and Piper and Sheik and Volkov and pretty much the entire WrestleMania class, except for Cyndi Lauper,
Thank you. Continue.
went into the Hall of Fame.
Damn crime.
You know,
Escardango.
Jeff made the decision. He went to the Hall of Fame. It was also night 2 of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla's inaugural All-Star Weekend. So we've had those type of choices before, but me and Statboy and our buddy Juan decided to just chill in the hotel, you know,
That's
take a
right.
night off.
That's right, we did.
Take the night off because we had gone to Gorilla the night before on Friday night. Took Saturday off because we knew that come Sunday, come WrestleMania, it was going to be insanity. So
See, he remembers the stories. He remembers the stories better than I do.
that WrestleMania was interesting because even though the three of us went and we went together, we bought tickets so late we couldn't even sit together. We were all scattered throughout the arena.
Good grief.
Single seats. That was about all we could find, but we were all there.
Yeah, you could say that you were there, you had the experience, but it's like
Exactly.
how many times do I want to do the same experience?
I mean, WrestleMania is WrestleMania, and like you guys pointed out, it's the go home show to the Super Bowl.
Right?
And not only is it the go home show to the Super Bowl, the final game of the regular season, everything that is contingent on who goes is on the line in the show. But then we get to induct the legends immediately following. You know, it's big. That's why we're doing it the way we're doing as far as coverage.
It's a weird setup to me, though, to have the Hall of Fame immediately following SmackDown. That means clearly it's in the same building. And what, you're going to slightly change the set or freaking just change the LED? Like, how are you going to handle the Hall of Fame is what I'm wondering. It almost makes me wonder, though, what's more important that night? Is it the SmackDown or is it the Hall of Fame? Truth be told, like you said, if I was out there, if I knew that the Supercard of Honor pay-per-view was only going to run through the SmackDown, yeah, I choose the Supercard of Honor pay-per-view, then I would storm over and literally just, change blazer and go to the Hall of Fame, because I think, personally, the Hall of Fame is more important than the SmackDown going to WrestleMania, because Big G, James, guys, let's be honest, WWE go-homes lately, especially on SmackDown, they don't give you everything you want across the entire 2 hours. It's usually the opening segment or the closing segment. And when it comes to SmackDown, one or two things the most important thing right now going to WrestleMania, and one of them is named Roman Reigns. So once you do Roman Reigns, what? What am I supposed to care about on SmackDown after that? Charlotte versus insert name here, because you literally think you're going to give me a name that could beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. In the immortal words of the late, great Mean Gene Okerlund, give me a break. I mean, when I went to Toronto 2019, Saturday I went to the Summer Card of Honor, and then, no, that was Friday, botch. Friday, I went to the Summer Card Bar. It was a crazy weekend. I got 30,000 steps in. Saturday night, I went to see NXT TakeOver Toronto 2. And then the freaking Sunday night, I went to see SummerSlam. So it was just, show, but it was a single show a day. Here you have a scenario where you have 250 different shows. We're talking about 2 of them under the same day on the biggest wrestling weekend of the year. I have yet to experience that biggest wrestling week of the year. Will I do that in 2024? Only time will daggum tell. Yes, thank you. So for me, I look at this. If Supercard is only during the SmackDown, I'm going to Supercard. Because I do think the most important thing out of that weekend before WrestleMania should be, as a fan, the Hall of Fame. Because if it wasn't for those that are being put into the Hall of Fame, why this person not here or not versus why this person's going in or not, you can't argue that the ones going in the Hall of Fame are the reason why we're here in the first place. As fans of either the people that follow them or as fans of them for what they did and still follow the business they did it in. So that's just my fair take. I mean, I feel like we all can point out a scenario, though, where we had to make a choice between doing this versus this. And it's one of those things where it's like, which one felt more important to me? And because of the one I didn't go to, do I have necessarily any regrets? And maybe there are those scenarios sometimes from a concert, live spectacle, entertainment showcase standpoint, we're like, damn it, why didn't we do this? I guess I still have fun in this. But, you can't look back on the past, and a missed opportunity just means that next time it's going to be more important. That's my fair take. So
That's fair. I mean, as far as how they'll set it up, I feel like they'll get rid of the SmackDown apron, put a standard black apron around, throw a podium in the ring for the person to stand at and talk.
Right.
Emmanuel mentioned last year they had the roster sit in the entrance area, so they'll probably have to take some time setting the chairs up on the entrance ramp and whatnot, so that everyone can take their seats there. you know. And then as far as A's point, kudos to the inductees having to try and top last year's.
Good luck
If
with that.
you know, there's some names in my head that if I was booking the Hall of Fame would be my class for this year. And just the 4 or 5 that I have as possibilities, not saying they'd all even get in the same class, but the 4 or 5 that I have in my head, I feel would easily, with the exception of The Undertaker, because no one's going to top that, let's be real.
No,
The Rock
period.
wouldn't be able
Can't top an Undertaker ever.
I feel like the rest of them would easily outclass last year's.
Okay, Stat Boy, you had your hand up for a moment, sir. What's on your mind?
I was going to ask, do you feel that the quality of the show of the Hall of Fame has kind of gone down? Because before Undertaker's induction moment, of course, is Flair inducting Piper with all the stories, you know, the knife in the knife in Kansas City incident, the riot in Puerto Rico, the flying halfway across the country, a full-scale riot in the Miami airport, 3:00 in the morning, being bent over the hood of a car in handcuffs. Nothing has topped that humor factor, the stories, well, let me tell you about this guy and what we did. Has it declined a little bit, you think?
JJ, why don't you give your rebuttal first here?
I would say definitely, and a lot of that has to do with the man who resigned last year, Vince McMahon, telling people to try to go certain time limits on their speeches.
Yeah.
That has had a huge hindrance in the humor factor, as you put it, Mikey, of the Hall of Fame ceremonies. And then the other thing that I feel that has seriously brought it down, I want to say it's been ever since, I think WrestleMania 24 was the first one where it was in an arena and outside of like the little amphitheaters
Mhm.
that they were doing.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I've noticed a decline, not in the entire audience, but in a majority of the audience, in the fans in attendance. A lot of people started coming to the Hall of Fame like they're going to your standard wrestling show.
Right.
And, you know, I feel like there should be a dress code at the Hall of Fame where you don't just come in with your t-shirt, your ripped jeans, your shorts, you know, your flannels, your hoodies, your signs. You come in looking like Noah Foster coming in to do a freaking watch alone on an internet YouTube channel. Shirt, tie, blazer. We're here to pay some fucking respect to these legends.
Damn right.
Come looking like it. Come looking like you're going to a job interview for a major company, not like you're going to go to the strip club and kick it with your homies.
Yep.
Damn.
He's right.
He's not he's not out of line, and he's also not wrong. Big G, I feel like you can also give a rebuttal to that too. I mean, I feel he also has a point. Before they went to like arenas and stuff like that, when it was in like the amphitheater gala, it felt like a more exclusive night of presentation and importance. Why
Yeah.
maybe nowadays it's more respected by the home audience than the actual people in attendance, besides the people that work in the company. So
Well,
what's your thoughts
you
on the presentation of the Hall of Fame, especially with being right after SmackDown?
So the reason why they're doing it after SmackDown, you got to realize now we have 2 nights of WrestleMania.
Right.
So go back to WrestleMania 29. They were still doing it in the different arenas or amphitheaters, whatever you want to call it. And then come WrestleMania 30, or not 30. Oh my God.
Botch.
Thank you. Come WrestleMania 36. Well, I mean, that's when the pandemic hit, so we had no audience.
Right.
And then the year after in the Thunderdome, so we had no audience there either. And then they started doing it in the arenas after SmackDown. And so, of course, you know, you're not going to have people dressing up and stuff like that because you're not going to have, oh, let me bring a spare suit with me and change in the bathroom and then go to the Hall of Fame. No. So, yeah, it's declined a little bit, but WWE is making it work to where the point they don't have to have an extra day of wrestling or Hall of Fame. I mean, because you have I mean, they could do it on a Thursday.
That's what I was thinking personally.
But like, who's gonna go? I mean, okay, but it's like you have. What are you gonna do? You're gonna have the Hall of Fame and then SmackDown. Why not make more money to combining SmackDown and the Hall of Fame? You'll have more butts and seats. If you get what I'm saying.
Okay. My only thing is,
go ahead, then JJ.
I don't like the fact that they do the Hall of Fame the way they do it. I have never been a fan since they moved it into the arenas for the reasons JJ stated. I think it was better suited when they did it in the diner and paid respect the actual way a Hall of Fame should be done. Every other sports league does it this way, by the way.
I know. I know.
Freaking NASCAR does it. NFL does it this way. Like, we're talking multi-million-dollar industries do this, sporting-wise. Even the UFC, I believe, does it.
You're right.
WWE is the only one that decides to do this shit in the arena. And as of recently of 2019, did it in the freaking ring. Do it in a ring, and we all know how well that ended up being.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Even if you have the greatest security detail, there's always going to be the one that slips through the cracks. There's always a risk doing it this way. I don't understand, and I do not get why they even do this other than for tickets. They already make enough money hand over fist. Do they really need the fucking money? Do they really?
Nope.
Exactly. No. Just move it into the fucking diners and stop putting it on the arenas.
JJ, you talked about maybe, like doing both. I haven't been to Ticketmaster. Is it like you get a combo ticket to see SmackDown Hall of Fame, or is it just a single ticket that you see the 4 shows? Or does literally like you saw SmackDown, you got a vamoose? If you don't have a ticket,
I think there's 2 plans right now on the websites that you can purchase. You can either purchase individual shows, or you can purchase a combo that gives you SmackDown, Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania, and the Raw After. So all 5 shows in a package. To G's point, don't you think they would make more money by splitting the 2 events? I mean, not to be disrespectful to these legends, but a lot of these people, getting up there in years, you can almost make the joke that 8 o'clock is past some of their bedtimes.
It's true.
Why not do an afternoon matinee, prior to night 2 of WrestleMania? You've already got Stand and Deliver that's at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning on night 1. Why not have the Hall of Fame be at 10 or 11 in the morning on night 2? And then they can be trotted out there as part of night 2 to be acknowledged on the main Mania card. You figure LA's got the Microsoft Theater right across in the same structure essentially as the Crypto.com Arena. Going kind of back to its roots, like WrestleMania 21 was at the Universal Amphitheater.
I remember that.
Indoors, a little bit more intimate. Yes, you still had room for some fans, but you're not trying to sell out a 20,000 seat arena. You're trying to sell out a 10,000 seat or less amphitheater.
Yeah.
And then you figure all the dignitaries, the Hall of Famers, the roster, their wives, their kids, whatever, all those people that are coming. So now the floor is pretty much already taken care of.
Right.
And you just give the upper sections, the 100s, 200s, if you will, to the fans. But like I said, you institute a dress code. You want in, you've got to be dressed a certain way. At the very least, business casual, polo shirt and some nice jeans or some slacks.
Yeah.
At the other extreme, looking like Noah does with his sport coat, tie, blazer, the whole nine. But you can't come in your t-shirt, ripped jeans, shorts, looking like you're going to a 1992 Nirvana concert.
Damn.
Sorry, G.
Sorry. Went there.
Oh, ready to go.
Hey, smells like Teen Spirit. I mean, again, when I always interpreted the Hall of Fame, especially when good old JR went in, that was just one of my all-time favorite inductions next to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Watching it just from home, I was literally wearing business casual. And when my mom and I used to engage in this together as fans, it was literally one of those nights where she even asked me, "Oh, why you look like that?" It's an important night. My favorite's going in the Hall of Fame. This isn't me just being entertained. This is me paying respect. So I always thought that the Hall of Fame should have been more to an exclusive audience that wants to be there and is willing to show up a way that dignifies them and why they want to be there. Not just somebody that wants to try and put it on the tweeter for 15 seconds of fame just in faith that they're going to say something stupid or funny. I also feel like if they were to do that, it wouldn't be so restricted to the way that the inductees basically show their thankfulness in their speech, whether it is storytelling or humoring. They wouldn't have such tight cues. They would go out there and literally just, let themselves be known for what they did, and also the fact that they appreciate us and appreciate them for what they did. I get it. Thursday, adding another day as part of the whole weekend, that means everyone's got to stay another night in a hotel or an Airbnb, more money. Okay, maybe that's not the way to go. I feel you're onto something, though, JJ, with the Sunday thing. Again, the fact that they're going to do stand delivered for you at noon, where I consider most people are going to be asleep or getting some sort of lunch, is beyond ridiculous. Guarantee you that arena is not going to be fully packed, but they're going to say, sold out on commentary, because that's what they do. To go into night 2 of WrestleMania, a few hours before, just giving tribute to those greats, I feel that the Hall of Fame would be perfect in its own little exclusive way at a more limited attended gala for the public a few hours before WrestleMania 2. I would do it like that because, again, I don't think people personally, and let's also put it out there, folks, Hall of Fame after SmackDown, these people are going to be stuck in their seats for 2 to 2.5 hours watching SmackDown that they're probably going to be half interested in based on who they're showcasing and what the go-home angle is. All right? Let's just put it out there. Go-homes in WWE are never strong top to bottom. They never have been, especially the last few years.
Yeah.
But the Hall of Fame is more important, I feel, than the go-home to SmackDown as a whole and should be treated as such. JJ, your thought?
And running back to what the original topic of this was about the Ring of Honor show or the Hall of Fame in general, it's like if I 100%, if I only had the money to buy a ticket for one show that weekend, I want to go to Stand and Deliver.
Again, that's your company. That's your NXT. I get that. I mean, and as far as, the original 2, if we were to just choose, let's leave the Hall of Fame out of this, because right now, I really think that Supercard of Honor is not going to open up the Hall of Fame. If I had to choose which one to go to live between the Supercard of Honor and the SmackDown, let's just put that in perspective. Just
Ring
those
of
2
Honor.
shows. Out of those 2, I'm going to Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor.
Just those 2 shows. Not even thinking about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Again, it just comes down to there's too much fucking wrestling.
But see, that goes back to the initial part of what I thought was so awesome about this topic in the first place, and why when I was there and they showed the initial video package for Supercard of Honor before we even started doing Dark Elevation, what really got me popped for it is like, a lot of people say that the glory days of professional wrestling are behind us. With an announcement like this, I call bullshit.
Completely agree.
Because to think like that tweet from SoCal Uncensored said, and that's the internet website SoCal Uncensored, not Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky.
Right.
But to go back to that tweet, the fact that we can have two major shows on the same night, roughly at the same time, drawing 10 to 15,000 people into the arenas. Holy hell.
Yeah.
Not since the days of WCW, Jim Crockett Promotions, and WWF were things like that even possible.
Exactly. It's kind of nice to know that nowadays you literally do have a choice. Too much of a good thing? Maybe, but that's why you moderate which part of the good thing you enjoy, when, and how. And that's the beauty right now of the industry. There is so many options to bring you back in or to keep you engaged as a fan. That's why professional wrestling's in a better state than ever, even though it's still underappreciated, I feel like, as a whole, when it comes to the entire sports world and world of entertainment.
Yeah, I don't think professional wrestling is going to get to that level it was appreciated on during the NWO Austin 316 DX era ever again. That's just something we have to accept.
Yeah, I've kind of accepted that too. There's just too many other distractions in this world right now that have really overclouded that. But it's nice to know that at least nowadays you do have options. So if you were once, come back. It's as simple as that as far as I'm concerned. All right, well, as we look towards the end of quarter one of the greatest wrestling week to come, there's still more discussion to come here on the Open Mind Anniversary Edition. We're going to take another short commercial break, and when we return, it'll be time for the main event, and it's WWE related. So stay tuned.
It's out of my hands, but I'm still in control. It's out of my hands. You can never take away the power of my soul.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Masters Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Grand Slam Rampage and Dynamite Watch Party. Shared Experiences by Mistress Audio and J. Hebert Side 95. Survivor Series 10-year retrospective. The J. Hebert Side of Things, Episode 3. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play Series. Watch-alongs for Halloween Havoc 97 and Fully Loaded 2000. All of A Simple Man's Brand Simply Predicting panels. Both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show. AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, and Retro Wrestling Review Series. The entirety of the NASCAR Thunder 2004 Let's Play Series. all of AEW's watch parties the last 4 weeks. Wrestle Kingdom 17 coverage in conjunction with the Jeff Meacham Network. A Simple Take. Both episodes available now. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting. Breaking news. ATW View Impromptu. WYW Intro and Immortal Stream. Royal Rumble Match Marathon with retros of events following Marathon. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
First off, I'm just going to say this. James, affirmative. You really are truly a robot in character. That was brilliant.
Am I a robot? Am I as much of a robot as Charlotte Flair on the mic, or like, you know?
Charlotte's more of a robot.
Yeah, there you go.
That's debatable. But anyway, domo arigato. That being said, welcome back, everybody, once again to the 1-year anniversary celebration edition of Open Mic Night. We've covered all the spectrums of all things wrestling. And we appreciate all y'all's thoughts, engagements, questions, and comments. Super chats, of course, are encouraged if you wish to bring something forward that is on your own mind and perspective. But without further ado, there's been a lot of bantering, but it's time to really get serious, too. It's time for the main event. And let your eyes not deceive you. Out of everything that has been speculated this week through this company, one thing is 100% daggum official. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Stephanie McMahon has officially resigned from all operations and duties and her job in the WWE. Wow. Well, gentlemen, where do we begin from here, considering how much Stephanie McMahon has literally been a driving force for this brand, in and out of the corporate office, to say the least? Of course, a mother, also has her own family. At one point, we thought she was just going to, take some time off to just focus more on that. And now it seems like that's more to fruition, also considering that apparently she's been dealing with, for a long time, an injury. JJ, what's your thoughts on this? Stephanie McMahon resign. A keyword, resign. What?
To quote Harvey Dent, I'm a man of two minds about the topic.
Good reference.
On the one hand, it's a sad day to see Stephanie step away from things, because I feel like for the longest time, I'd say since about 04, 05, she really was the glue holding things together backstage. I feel like she really was, for everything that Vince McMahon is, was, and ever will be. I feel like Stephanie was the bastion of sanity throughout everything. And some people will say that, well, yeah, it's easy to do that when you've got Triple H as your muscle, your husband. We all know how political Hunter's been in the past. I mean, at the end of the day, it was his suggestion to pull the screw job in Montreal. But that's not here nor there.
Right.
Then you take a look at the other side of the coin, and you're happy for her. Much like how I discussed last week about how I feel like Vince has just kind of enjoyed being Grandpa Vince at home with his grandkids. I think like Steph is really looking forward to getting to go back home and putting the WWE behind her with whatever the final result is of the potential rumored supposed sale that is impending, and just being Mama Steph. Where I'm since I'm the first one to go here, we are not going to address the rumors about Saudi Arabia or anything like that unless you guys decide to super chat about it, because at the end of the day, a rumor that has since been deleted by the initial author of said rumor on the Twitter.
Peter.
Damn near broke the internet and has been proven more times over than I care to count that it was false.
There you go.
You know, there's a bunch of other potential suitors that are in the conversation. Supposedly, allegedly, reportedly, Nick Khan had meetings with ESPN and Disney recently over potential deals, seeing where they were, what their offer was, et cetera, et cetera. But again, we discussed this in our group chat, the Open Mic Night Forum. Until a press release is issued by World Wrestling Entertainment,
Damn it.
we're not going to address those because we want to try to be the outlet that just brings you more fact than bullshit. We'll leave the bullshit for the Meltzers and the Alvarezes of the world.
Simple as that.
But
Anyway.
I mean, it was a double-edged sword, really, hearing the news. Like I said a moment ago before I went off on my little tangent there. It's sad because what's going to happen within the backstage roles now that there really isn't a McMahon in the company anymore. Yes, Vince is there, but he's only there still, to the best of our knowledge, to facilitate a negotiation, deal, potential sale of the company. He's not there to get involved in day-to-day. He's not there to get involved in creative. Per the Pro Wrestling Insider, there was a meeting recently where Triple H thanked the talents for all they do and has told them that Vince McMahon's involvement is just to spearhead the search to see if and who WWE will sell to. And he also reiterated that none of this will see any effect on current creative. Again, take that for what it is. I don't think that whoever wrote that for the PW Insider was actually backstage at the meeting, so take it with a grain of salt, but everything we have been led to believe says that Vince is just there to make a deal. So as long as Hunter is able to keep the ship going down the course that he's been allowed to do since Vince stepped away, whatever it was, June, July of last year.
Yeah, something like that.
I think we're going to be fine. But it is interesting to look and see that as far as day-to-day creative, etc., there is no McMahon right now involved in the WWE hierarchy, with the exception to Paul Levesque, a McMahon by marriage.
Right. Keyword McMahon by marriage. A Big G, we know Stephanie McMahon since literally the 1990s when she was just, the little girl, damsel in distress, the Stone Cold Steve Austin debacle of Vince McMahon. And then, of course, she went on 1999, turned against her father, Wise, and went along with Triple H. She once was the general manager of SmackDown, and Cena got up close and personal with that. And then, of course, she's played an on-screen character, women's champion, women's influencer in and out of the WWE, in the local community, guiding a portion of our black and gold NXT to a degree, that women's division, and what she brought forward and called the women's evolution, bringing up the likes of Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch to the main roster to try and surpass what became the Divas era and try to make women's wrestling a bit more realistic. She's done it all in and out of the ring, character, professional standpoint, but she's also been chief brand officer. She has been a focal point for marketing. To see her now leave all of that behind and focus strictly on just family, it's almost one of those things I think in the industry that may be a goal for a worker, just to finally be able to step away and start a family. She started a family, but now she can truly dedicate herself more to being part of that. And I feel in a way we should be grateful that she's able to do that. But what's your thoughts seeing that Stephanie McMahon is officially done with WWE?
Oh man! All right, I'm not going to take too much time here. I said my piece of this on Tuesday on Aaron's channel.
Right.
So if you guys want to check my side on it, go check that out. I'm gonna let James and Statboy do their opinion because I don't want to say something that I didn't say. I don't want to like, you know what I mean. I don't want to.
You
I
don't
said
wanna-
something.
you
I
don't
said
wanna
my piece on
sound redundant.
Tuesday. Yeah,
Right. You don't want to
so.
sound redundant. I get it.
Redundant. Yes. Thank you.
That was on purpose, actually. Rewind. Anyway, go ahead, Big G. Short, sweet, and simple.
Yeah, I mean, good for. I mean, it sucks that Stephanie retired, or not retired, resigned. But like I said on Tuesday, I feel like it was mainly just to get away from the business and focus on her family.
All right. Simple
Well,
as
there
that.
you go. Short and swimple.
Swimple?
Swimple. That definitely was a botch, wasn't it?
I am way past my bedtime right now, so.
What is
botch? It's a botch counter.
Oh, good Lord Almighty. Well, as he fixes the botch counter, Stat Boy, what's your thoughts? How does Stephanie McMahon now resigning from WWE really, I feel like, change the ecosystem from a entrepreneur business standpoint? There we go. I mean, clearly this has to affect things, I imagine, internally. But as far as Stephanie McMahon resigning goes, I mean, again, what's your takeaways? And at the end of the day, if you have any moments that you can say that you faced that before, go for it. Your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I was surprised on the whole thing. Done with Sports Bar, Dory and I talked it over. We looked at the letters, we looked at the statements, and Steph wrote that as her goodbye. But you never say goodbye in wrestling, because we'll see Stephanie again at some point. She will pop up somewhere, be it at a Hall of Fame, or when they put her in the Hall of Fame herself, or whenever you think of women running companies. Okay, she ran the company. Not too many people, or not too many women, do that.
Especially in business.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, she was up there at the top. And I want to be wrong in saying that Vince had a problem with that. Because when I initially read Vince's response to Stephanie's resignation, there was a small part of me that said, okay, this is bull. You don't want to acknowledge your daughter as what she's done. You want to take full control of your baby back. This is like, you're the dad. It's like you're the dad and WWE is your child, and you two are in court over who gets custody of WWE.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I immediately said, I read the first line and I said, bullshit. He wants his company back. Well, he got his company back. Now, if a sale comes through, and are we then going to get another press release saying, well, we've been sold and Vince has stepped down again? Well, that'd be the biggest cowardice move ever in the world of business. And I've said many times, I hate business. What are you're gonna come back just so you can get your hands in the cookie jar and in the cash register, and then ride off and spoil your kids? If that happens, then if I ever am lucky enough to see Vince McMahon, I will not mark out for him. I will not want to shake his hand. I will not want to ask for an autograph, and I will not want to take a picture with him, because that is one of the greediest, selfish business practices ever. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy. If I'm right, oh boy.
Dude, be the most unhappy man on the planet.
Exactly. And also, she just recently she tweeted from her hospital bed with the ankle injury and whatnot. That was a bit of a surprise too. I mean, it sounded like her ankle injury and surgery, which went well, so right. She'll be fine. But if that had to do with it, then that could have been said, hey, also, I've got this little problem with my foot. I'm also going to go take care of that. That's what's going to be happening. And then it wouldn't. But then I saw that I'm like, oh, she needed to go get her ankle fixed. Quite convenient. Now, then you get the aha moment. You're like, oh, okay, you needed to take some time off to get this fixed. Then it makes sense, So yeah.
Right.
Thank
and
you.
it's one of those things where I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have worn high heels your whole life. Just saying. Why do women do that? What do I know?
Agree,
right?
I agree, actually.
Thank you.
How do they do it? Never understand.
That's a Dory question. I don't know.
And maybe JJ, you could consult Cece on that. Does she wear heels?
She does not.
She's
my
a smart
wife
woman.
doesn't either. Thank God.
You're both brilliant men that marry brilliant women.
Some women I know do it because they feel like they're short and wearing, 6-inch stilettos give them a little bit more height to their frame.
Yes,
Some women I know they just do it because of the sex appeal. They think it makes them look sexier
yes.
with a good pair of heels to go with their outfit.
Listen, I ain't mad at the aesthetic reason, but I mean, if we're being real about it, yes, sex appeal and height is so worse scoliosis. I mean, come on,
great medical term.
I mean, you want to go there? You want to go there, James? Since we're off topic for just a second, boob jobs worth a bad back?
Yeah, true. That is true, and I do. They aesthetically look good.
But just saying. But back to Stephanie.
I would have said.
Hey, wait! Is that Step Boy approved?
Is it Step Boy approved? Is all
I
this
think
Step Boy approved?
I think it is. We have not had one yet.
Yes, Step Boy approved. Ding.
Yeah.
All right. Circling back, James. There's no doubt among all of us, you have been the most heavily critical of WWE's corporate structure for the longest time that I've known you. But Stephanie McMahon, I haven't heard you necessarily critical about her in any way. And the fact that she's now gone, I'm super curious as to why I kind of saved you last to get not only your take that she resigned, maybe the reasons implied behind it, whether it was injury, whether it's finally settling down with the family, whether it's just to get away from a braving toxicity, her opinion, possibly. But go ahead, man. The floor is yours. Take it away as far as your thoughts from a business standpoint and maybe a personal standpoint. And was this more, maybe in your opinion, personally driven or business driven?
Well, there's a couple things I want to point out. I have been critical about Stephanie in the past. I have weighed down on knowing that her father was the one in charge for so long and made her say those the philanthropy future marketing tweets, as we know now. So it kind of is what it is,
Right.
I don't think she's that heartless. I think people give her a bad rep than what is fucking deserved. But
I think it's the smile that does it more than anything in those pictures.
I think it's just the fact that she was a heel authority figure and she acted like a bitch and didn't get repercussions. And then when she finally did, it was very rare. And then by that point, a bunch of people tuned out. I think that's the main reason why people are just like, she's pretty. No one likes her. And no, wrestling ain't real life. Chill. Anyway, I think from a personal standpoint, I think she was going to be out regardless. I think she was only there literally until her father was going to come back to facilitate the sale. I think that was always the plan. I don't think anybody was completely freaking. I think everybody knew he was coming back to have that happen. Because they even said if he's going to come back at some point down the line, they just didn't know when. So they were anticipating it. Again, I think the rumor and innuendo that was spread around was ridiculous. And I'm glad that it got snuffed out the way it did. Because this is one of those cases where I don't think the WWE deserves it. Until a deal is finalized, chill, right? And I'm glad that got nipped in the bud. My whole thing, and I even said I was gonna say this, and this is totally tinfoil, but I think that IWC journalism, for whatever the fuck that's worth anymore.
Oh god.
I genuinely believe, and I don't even give a fuck. You can quote this, keep the solo shot on me. I think, and Alex Jones here in the building probably, but maybe I'm overthinking it. But I find it very ironic that all these fucking people come out of the woodwork out of nowhere. All right, to say these rumors, which is exactly what they were, and they were immediately fucking disproven.
Right.
They said all that shit all at the exact same time, only for it to be completely untrue, for WWE to nip that in the bud immediately. And you're telling me that was not a coordinated effort to, because I'll tell you right now, it's either they wanted to make the WWE look bad and they were completely incompetent in the research, or they were worried about the possibility, so they wanted to nip that in the bud before it even got started as a business deal. Those are your two fucking options, because I don't know why the fuck you would go and lie about something that egregious all at the fucking same time. And every dirt sheet is guilty of that has a source, because they all said the same thing. And by the way, if you think that isn't the case, and they don't dog on people, whether it's deserved or not, need I remind you about how the dirt sheet media has dogged on Punk until Dax came out with his podcast? Just saying. They've done it before. What the fuck makes you think they didn't do that here?
Fair take. Fair take.
I'm glad they got fucking sniffed out for that. As far as Stephanie goes,
go ahead.
Because they fucking deserved it.
Yeah, back on topic. You're good though. And then I'll toss it over to Stat Boy, who probably has rebuttal towards that.
As far as like Stephanie and just everything, I didn't even know she had an ankle injury. That's the whole.
No one did.
I had no idea, because like you wouldn't have never guessed the entire time. How did that even happen? That looked like a gruesome injury as it was. But yeah, I mean, I think she was done immediately. She wanted to be done anyway. She only came back because of everything that was going on. And then when he came back, he was coming back to just sell the company, and it looks like that's how it's going to be. I think a lot of people forget as well, and this is just legal findings. You can find this out yourself. Vince cannot legally even go into the company and take back as full chairman, even if he wanted to. There's so many legal roadblocks to even facilitate that to happen. Like he resigned. It's done. Like they already made provisions where he can't even come in. The only reason he's back is because they made a, agreement that he would come in to facilitate a sale. So they made him as the chairman of board of directors. And that's all he is. Nothing more, nothing less. He is chairman of a department of the WWE, not the entire thing. And it is strictly to facilitate a sale. If anything else were to come out against that, like it would need to be Forbes to cover something like that, or even a TMZ, because I trust those sources more than I'd ever trust most dirt sheets. And I'm typically one to be worst case scenario thinking. I'm in a rare case, I'm like, why don't we fucking see what the hell happens here?
I'm proud of you.
Let's wait, because, and I even said that during the ATW view, because I was trying to find, okay, where does it strictly freaking say that? And so I was editing the ATW view, which is freaking hilarious. So that video I promoted about the Saudi thing, I then made a video right afterwards, so it's like a two-parter podcast where I completely dispelled the freaking rumors. So there's like a whole timeline podcast of the whole thing. I said it there too. I think we jumped the fucking gun here. I think there was a lot of panic. I think there was a lot of worry. And by the way, reasonably so. Even to the dickheads that spread the rumor around in the fucking first place. I ain't even gonna stunt. There is reason to worry. I'll give you that. However, there's no concrete evidence to support that fucking worry right now. Why give the worry at all? It's classic fear-mongering 101. Stop it. Stop it. I go back to what I said, last year. Nobody wants to deal with the shit at their professional wrestling. We already deal with this in the fucking news media. I don't want to fucking be fear-mongered in my wrestling media too. Fuck off. I don't like it. Stop it. Stop doing that to my people.
Stop it. You stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Someone's like the Britney Spears meme. Leave it alone. Anyway.
Leave wrestling alone.
Oh God. Don't remake that in 2023. Step Boy, you had your hand up earlier. I believe you had a point.
Well, I was just going to ask, if we can bring this into a topic maybe, how does this stuff get started to where it explodes? I mean, because
hashtags.
What is it?
Hashtags.
The Twitter.
No, not hashtags. I mean, we know there was a meeting within WWE that had to have taken place. We know that Vince is back on the board. We know that has taken place. But where and who has said anything about a sale? We don't know. So then the question is, and if there is something about a sale, wouldn't the group be tight-lipped and say, okay, keep this knowledge to yourself, but then somebody doesn't listen or somebody doesn't realize who they're talking to and they let it slip and then it explodes? Is that how it goes?
In this day and age, when nothing is private, possibly, and honestly, it could just be somebody acting like somebody on the Twitter or some other form of a verified stamp that makes themselves seem so believable. One person sees it, and then it spreads like wildfire, like you drop a match in a freaking forest, and woof.
All it takes is for one of these so-called respected internet wrestling journalists. Like I say, you take your Dave Meltzers, your Brian Alvarez's, your Sean Ross Sapps, etc. Names like that. All that they've got to do is put out a tweet that says, I received a message from a source within WWE that a sale with Saudi Arabia is pending. And because they're a respected name, supposedly, in internet wrestling journalism, and because they say that they got it from a source within the company, goes viral, retweets, everyone starts sharing it. People like, the no DQ boss, Aaron Rift, grabs a hold of it and shares it onto his site because that's basically what he does. He gives everybody a forum there. So when he sees some news coming out like that, he's going to post it to his site, try to get traffic coming to it. And it just blows up from there. Then you've got, literally 50 people doing live streams while Jeff's trying to do Talk Wrestling on Tuesday at his normal time.
Damn.
So there goes his core audience. All the people that normally tune into him are now tuning into all these other streams. It's the proverbial domino effect. You just topple that first one and everything else just falls in line. Acknowledge it like it's the business. And then a couple days later, everything gets disproven. Now everyone's got to retract.
Exactly.
Which is why I want us to try to stay away from that type of stuff. It's one thing for us to pick up, a rumor about, so-and-so may be coming back soon. So-and-so's interested in coming at the Rumble. Something like that. That's a talk point. It's a talk point.
It's a talk point.
Something like this that literally affects hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
You want to stay away from until you have concrete, factual evidence.
Damn right.
Let's think about this for a second. Okay. If Saudi Arabia had bought it, Okay. That could be why Stephanie stepped down, because we all know how the Saudis feel about women in positions of power. One. Okay. There goes your entire women's division.
Yep.
You know, Emmanuel says to say goodbye to Charlotte the Golden Girl makes zero sense to give an entire division that kills Judgment Day, Ronda, invest all that time. The only good thing, in my opinion, would be that Charlotte doesn't get to tie or beat her dad's record, but I digress. That's just me being a Charlotte hater. But you lose your entire women's division.
Yep.
You know, how many people right there is that out of a job?
Let's see.
Too many.
Yeah.
How many people said they were going to walk out?
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Think about guys like Sami Zayn, who won't even go over there when they do Crown Jewel.
And he's the most prolific character in the entire WWE environment right now, next to Roman Reigns. Bite me if you say otherwise.
Yeah, and he's supposedly, hasn't been made official yet because we still got to get through the Rumble, but he's supposedly going to challenge Roman at the Chamber.
What?
What?
Yep.
Whoa.
So now that is in jeopardy.
It's in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yeah, they're in his home country, his home city and country.
Oh my gosh, the pop, the heat. Anyway, continue.
You know, so that then becomes in jeopardy if the sale was to be believed.
Right.
Domino effect. There's so much stuff that then tumbles. A bunch of people, you know, mentioned walking out of the company. So then you're left with how much of your roster? Does the sale to Saudi Arabia completely liquidate the WWE to where it no longer exists, because now you have no talent to perform?
Exactly. You got to consider also those marketing partners too. But again, to pontificate on JJ's point, just put a bull on it.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you tweet or see or read on the internet. Simple as that.
Absolutely. You know, it comes back to what we talked about numerous times last year, journalistic integrity. And we here at Open Mic Night, the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, tried to pride ourselves on journalistic integrity.
Damn it. But he digressed.
Well, then I do the same thing on Sports Bar.
Yes.
More or less. Yeah, the stuff that you bring up that is newsworthy topics are in fact news. You have ESPN.com, ABC, Fox, whoever as your sources. It's not Joe Blow from Kokomo whose girlfriend fucked the quarterback of the team that's playing, you know. And this is where you're getting your information from. You know, it's not like that. It's not like Eighth Rothstein, who knew, you know, if the quarterback's girlfriend was pregnant, or if the running back had a secret injury, or if, you know, somebody was having home issues.
Oh, Lord.
None of that stuff matters at the end of the day.
Unless you're on the Maury Show or Jerry Springer.
Yeah, which we're not.
Thank Christ.
We're the furthest thing from that. We're closer to TMZ than any of that.
I'll take that.
But you know, it's going back to the Stephanie thing.
Yeah, but I'll say, let's think about that again. The person versus the business woman. As far as this injury goes, kayfabe-wise, the only reason I was aware of, her arm was probably never the same again after Ronda Rousey ripped it out its socket, allegedly.
And whose would be after that?
Yeah, nobody, to be fair, let alone twice. Ronda took it twice.
Although I think G would like to have Shayna Baszler rip his arm out like that.
Oh,
look at him!
hell
Look at
yeah.
him! He's already starting to smile.
Yeah.
As soon as
You know-
I said her name, he was like, "Yes, baby."
My wife's asleep right now, so yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, is she your one pass?
She might watch this. Shut the hell up.
Shayna can rip my arm out, and Britt can give me her submission.
Okay, so Big G needs to reach out to Shayna Baszler, try to get on his
I didn't know that Big G was happy to. Not only is he happy to be here, he's happy to be here with BDSM gear on. Jesus Christ!
Okay,
Holy
this is
shit.
just going off the rails. Jesus.
Kinky up in here.
I'm gonna say this right now. You probably are subscribed to our YouTube channel. I dare you to try and private message her about, hey, can I get a training video with you on armbar submission? And see what happens.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I wonder how many people are sliding into Mandy Rose's DMs trying to get a video like that. But I digress.
Down.
Good night, everybody.
Well, that woke me up.
You're welcome.
What the fuck? Dude, the way you said it as Big G just sounded so creepy, dude. Like, no.
I mean, he was just honestly asking that question. I mean, I met Shayna Baszler. She's a pretty approachable person. And I talked to her
I don't think
about
when it comes to
submission
stuff like that.
Well, I mean, you know, you go to a SummerSlam meet and greet, and you talk to Shayna Baszler after she faced Mia Yim for the SC Women's Championship. You talk to Adam Coates about the cage match, Johnny Gargano, and you're like, neither of you leave Black and Gold NXT. Shayna, again, that was a hell of a match with Mia Yim, but story for a different day. But yeah, as far as the person versus the profession, again, to separate those two things after how long you've been literally, it's almost like if you're in the WWE, that almost is your life. Even when you try and get away from it, that is your life. It's like you can't get away from it. We've been hearing rumor has it with these people that are going to be allegedly at the Royal Rumble. Okay, is that one offer you're coming back to the company? How many people right now is Triple H brought back into the WWE that were on the independent or outside scene, not just because of budget cuts, but just because of other reasons? How many people is Triple H still trying to bring into this company, despite how deep this company is in JJ's NXT, not my NXT? So, but staying on point here as far as the person we're talking about here, Stephanie McMahon, to think about everything she has done for this brand, keyword brand, and at one point was the boss of the entire thing, truly the man. It's truly something to be respected, and if this is the way that she decides to go out simply to just finally relax at home as a mother, to see the growth in her family, wouldn't surprise me if one of her daughters goes to a WWE business office or training. So, I mean, again, what are you saying here? Ain't seen her a brick, find out what they don't call, did you? Damn it! You freaking idiot!
Nice.
I got it!
Nice. Big G will definitely be happy to be there. I'll tell you that right now. Right in the comfy dentist chair of Dr. Britt Baker,
This
DMD.
insurance is not going to cover that friggin' out-network thing unless he's on a premier plan that allows him to do that if he wants to pay it out of pocket.
Listen, Big G. This is all I ask. You got if all that happens, then like if Rhonda's there, just call me. I'll rush down to Jacksonville.
If I'm going to talk about Pittsburgh, but anyway.
No, if Rhonda's friends with Shayna, and if Shayna's going to be in Dr. Britt Baker's office, I got to go there.
Giggity. All right.
All right.
This is what happens when you got spare time on the podcast. But yeah, I feel what's more important than succeeding in business is succeeding as a mother when you want to settle down and support your family. Again, I have no idea where her children are at this point in their lives as far as their pursuits, choices, following in the steps of their parents, let alone, following maybe the success to a degree that they want to achieve that Stephanie and Triple H have achieved in and out of the ring. Whether or not they go into WWE is a whole different thing. But I go back to this. I think about what you said, Statboy, though, about the Vince McMahon, stance on this. Where at the end of the day, Stephanie McMahon is Vince's daughter, period. I do remember, though, James, from the Pat McAfee podcast that Vince was on, he did talk about at one point, I wish my family actually worked a little harder, damn it. I don't think they could give it enough to the company or enough to the business. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm okay with controversy.
Yeah,
it's almost like he puts himself above his family. And I don't know kayfabe wise or not, because again, it was a podcast.
I have a question. So you say that.
Yeah.
When did that happen before the Royal Rumble or after?
The podcast?
Yeah.
It was before the Rumble or after the Rumble?
It was after the Rumble, before
it was after the Rumble,
WrestleMania.
because, that's when he put the McAfee match.
He was promoting WrestleMania.
I was gonna say if it was
when he offered McAfee the match.
If it was before the Royal Rumble, we wouldn't know why Shane threw his weight around backstage. Yeah.
I honestly wonder what Shane McMahon thinks about this, because the only one that actually has talked about this as far as the statement goes, as we read JJ officially from the WWE, was Vince's take. Take it for what you will, Esteban. But I honestly wonder what Shane thinks about this. That's her brother, after all. And as far as what we've seen on WWE, those two have always butted heads.
I don't
And
think
technically
Shane
speaking-
wants anything to do with WWE anymore, to be honest.
You think Shane don't want anything to do with WWE anymore?
Yeah, I don't think he wants it. After the Rumble, I mean, after last year's Rumble, we haven't seen or heard from Shane.
Fair take. But it's one of those things where I was like, yeah, I really do hope, because I like to think in humanity, even in the worst individual you can think of on the planet, there's some sort of level at one point what you might have thought was decency. At the end of the day, this is a father talking about his daughter. Daughter wants to make the father proud, but they also want to do right by themselves. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, Vince, are you literally downplaying Stephanie from a character standpoint, or do you truly appreciate what she did? And is it coincidental that you are just bad at a dictator sale, and now she's finally like, okay, I don't need to be here anymore, because at the end of the day, Triple H got this, and even when the company sells, things are just going to be, what they are. I don't need to do anything anymore. I mean, to tangent, you talk about money. How much more money does WWE need to make when it comes to the booking of the Hall of Fame and the SmackDown back-to-back versus separately 20,000 versus a exclusive, fully engaged, I don't know, 10,000 per se. Again, I just find all this happening in such a short span of time. Again, we talk about another tangent. The week just started. We're 15 damn days into 2023, and all of this is already occurring. But Stephanie McMahon no longer working with or guiding the direction of WWE's branding? I did not see that on my 2023 bingo card. JJ, you have a thought?
Let's think about this here, too. This kind of just came into my head while you guys were going back and forth about some of the other stuff.
Right.
It takes a while usually to facilitate a deal of this type of magnitude. For starters, okay, Vince just came back last week.
Right.
Yeah. So number one, do we realistically think that a deal could have gone through all the negotiations, pens to paper, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours, in a week?
No.
And if it could, do you really think they would announce something so earth-shattering prior to WrestleMania, the biggest event in their calendar year, knowing that if a deal like that to a name like Saudi Arabia, or even somebody like Disney, who we all know how much myself and the man whose name is on the marquee over there, Jeff Meacham, adore Disney.
Right.
But to know that Mickey Mouse has one more stone in his Infinity Gauntlet going into the biggest show of the year, what do you think that would do to stockholders?
Wait, let me put this in terms that anyone can understand. Karen Grimes.
I don't think, even if a deal is to be reached and finalized, I don't think we hear it announced until the Tuesday after WrestleMania earliest.
Yeah. And that's a stretch too, because keep in mind, these business deals take a fucking century to complete.
That's why I said earliest, because you figure the Raw after Mania, while usually essentially January 1st for WWE's calendar, is usually so monumental, so huge. Call-ups, returns, signings, none of that is going to get jeopardized.
No.
The Tuesday after Mania, soonest something earth-shattering like that would be announced. Let's be real, people. I'm going to throw up a banner that I had saved in here from the old times. If common sense were common, more people would use it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Absolutely.
That needs to be another shirt, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff, did you hear us from beyond the mouse house? Make that happen.
House of Mouse.
Yeah, there you go. and Darren, I see your engagement there. Haha. But yeah, the bottom line though is this: if Stephanie truly has decided to focus on post WWE life and just live for herself and her family, thank you. Long overdue. Enjoy actually living outside a world of business in sports entertainment and professional wrestling.
Yes.
Absolutely. Simple as that. WWE press releases usually use this line, and a lot of times it almost feels like it's sarcastic in its usage after a superstar has been released, future endeavored, whatever. But from all of us here at the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, Stephanie McMahon, we honestly wish you the best in your future endeavors and whatever comes your way in your life, career, be it motherhood, another business opportunity, etc., from this day forward.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Yeet.
And also get well soon. And if the ankle injury was caused by wearing heels, stop wearing them.
Legit.
Jesus.
That's all I gotta say. I don't know anything about fashion apparel, but if you want to walk straight, I think it's easier to do it without a broken ankle.
There you go. That's all I have to say about that.
And I rest my case, Your Honor. That being said, folks, we're gonna take a short commercial break here, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. So we'll be back once again momentarily to bid you all adieu. Stay tuned. Like a thing. All right.
Do you want Dory Lou to come in and talk about high heels real quick?
Yeah, sure.
If you want sub-tangent, yeah, let's get her take.
Dory, come on in. I'm going to tag out.
All right.
Have a seat.
Yes, have a seat.
Yes. Hello, Dory.
Hey guys. How y'all doing?
I'm doing very
good.
well.
We have a
musically
question.
Gifted and fashion capable friend. I'd like to get a subtle take from you. So we learned that Stephanie McMahon apparently had an ankle injury. I know for the longest time, at least as far as, on screen showcasing, she wore high heels. Yep. I've heard high heels are not great for you for the long haul. So what's your take, particularly on just high heels in fashion?
Well, I did live in high heels for a long time. And that is probably one of the reasons why I have tendonitis, an ankle issue, and arthritis in my knees. However, I also have great posture from all the time I spent in high heels. It's also a modeling thing. I know for me, when I was wearing my high heels and I did my hair and it gave me stature. With women, as a general rule, in the past being smaller than men in height, and I'm a big girl, but it also helped us to become eye level and try to get you to meet us on an eye level instead of you looking down as men, instead of men looking down on us because we're small and diminutive.
Yep.
Historically.
So height.
So it's a height thing. It's a stature thing. It's also a self-confidence thing because if a woman is wearing high heels, hey there, hope you're enjoying the show. It's with that posture and that stature, it's also a confidence booster. It gives you a little more self-confidence that some women might not already have. It's like when you look good, you feel good. And for a long time, women needed those heels because that's what you saw in I'm going to say the late or early 20th century on, were the women in high heels to be able to have that modeling stature.
Okay.
So it kind of made men look at us a little bit differently. However, did you know the first high heels were actually worn by men? And it was also for that reason, for the height to give them stature. Yep.
Really?
Yep. Sure did. And it was back in, I want to say, Elizabethan. I may be wrong with my era, but yeah, it was actually men who wore high heels first.
Huh.
Well, I'll be.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
there's your history lesson for the day.
We appreciate it.
Hey, if there's anything that we appreciate here on Open Mind Night, it's always a learning experience. And Dory Lou, I truly thank you. And I hope that the chat can also appreciate that knowledge too. I think they would love to get more of your takes on our things as well going forward. So don't ever be a stranger here.
As soon as I get off work and you guys are on, I'll try to at least pop in to say hi.
There you go.
That's all that matters the most to us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Dory Lou. And with that being said, folks, that concludes the anniversary edition of Open Mind Night. Again, 52 weeks. We just started as far as I'm concerned. So they're going to continue from here too. I was humbled to be your host tonight too. Whether this happens again at corporate office choice, popular choice, chat choice, panel choice, we'll see. Again, Big G may say it, but I truly mean it. I truly am just happy to be here and appreciate all of you on this crazy ride too. So before we conclude and bid y'all a fine adieu, let's go ahead, plug and promote some fun, wholesome content and engagement to further the outreach for all of us too. Big G, again, man, always a pleasure. I know I'll see you soon on No DQ for predictions as we kick off the WWE League for Royal Rumble, if not a No DQ review. And of course, back here again too. So as you get ready to blissfully slumber with dreams of Shayna Baszler, everything you want to plug and promote, where can people find you?
Yep. All right. So if JJ wants to throw it up real quick, the first thing.
Which one do you want me to throw up first?
The plugs.
Where they can find you, or the Fan Fest?
Where they can find me. Yep. So they're at Big Baller G 1988 on TikTok, NoDQ.com/Big Baller G on Twitter, and NoDQ_Big Baller G 1988 on Instagram. Nice. And then coming up less than a month away, Baltimore Celeb Fest 6. Oh, I can't wait. We have a bunch of great talent. We have your ROH 6-man tag champs coming. There's going to be other vendors there with other great talent. The Nature Boy Ric Flair is going to be there. Trish Stratus is going to be there. Christian's going to be there. So much talent's going to be there. It's awesome going to these conventions and being on the other side of the Fan Fest and bringing this in for the fans.
Great stuff, man. Have a great time. And actually,
really will.
Wow, incredible talent. seen her work on NWA and AEW Dark. Stat Boy, you brought the numbers tonight. I know you're going to keep bringing them. I know you can't wait to definitely bring all the statistics possible for the Royal Rumble. But we still have a lot of time till then, and I know also you have a lot ahead too. So where can people connect and find you?
You can find myself and Dory Lou on Stat Boy Sports Bar every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, where we talk sports, and more sports. The wild card weekend has just started. We had 2 games today. There are 3 games tomorrow, then another game on Monday. Then we're back in there on Tuesday to give you all the stats and what's happening in as football season 2022-23 winds down. There's our Twitter handles at LBStatKid1977 and at Hathaway Lou. Also, we're continuing with our Fantasy Hockey League. Fantasy Baseball is going to be announced mid-February with the season starting late March, early April. And again, like the Simple Man said, I'll be doing my homework. I'll be making sure I have all the stats lined up for the Royal Rumble.
Let's go. Real quick, also shout out Jacksonville Jaguars who won 31-30. Let's go. Yep. Come on, Tony Khan. Like, get your team a WWE championship. God damn it, for the memes, for the culture.
So what will happen if the Jaguars can get that championship? Like, do you think he'll bring it out on Dynamite and throw it away?
Bro,
oh my God.
Oh. No, I can just imagine Tony Khan at like a house show like Dark segment. He comes out with a replica AEW title, does the Jericho it's from like 2001.
I just doing it.
Does the fucking twirl. I got both bitches.
Oh my God. I hope to see that live.
It's a long shot.
It might be, but a boy can dream. A memer can dream, goddammit.
Hey, this man's a dreamer. This man's a visionary. This man is extremely capable and creative. Don't doubt him and don't doubt his mind. And again, James, always a pleasure. I know we collab a lot, do a lot of great stuff too. I know we ran some of your trailers, but is there anything else that you want to promote? And where can people find you?
As far as recent stuff that you can check me out on, a couple things. Number one, at some point, Indy Force comes back. Don't know when. We're still in the working process of that. Second thing is which is definitely on the cards, NASCAR Thunder 2003, Part 3, finally finishing up season mode with my created car. So go check that out. I think 2004, best fucking game NASCAR has ever done. If you haven't played it, we're missing out because that game is loads of fun if you like racing titles. So go check that out if you want to see me, fuck around, race, maybe cause some rivalries to happen, maybe crash some people. I caused and from last episode, I'll just give you a little brief synopsis. I accidentally caused a big one at Martinsville, the old Dominion track. And it was big pile because I was going faster than everybody else on the track, and I pushed somebody onto the pit wall, and they just smashed into the post. And then he turned around, got rear-ended by somebody else, and then just a crazy-ass pile-up proceeded from there. And then I also, in the same race, I somehow, without even meaning to, shoulder-checked Terry Labonte, and then Terry Labonte got shoulder-checked by somebody else, and he fucking skidded on his roof. And so it's just this great replay on there, where he's just going teeter-totter as he's skating.
So what system is this?
Onto his roof. Okay. So, yeah, that's the type of fun you can expect on NASCAR Thunder 2004. There you go.
If that type of chaos occurred more on NASCAR, they probably would have more viewers.
There you go. Stat Boy, you wanted to say something? Did I take you by surprise?
You just shocked Dory. I was gonna wave the black flag if that's the penalty flag.
Hey, listen, there were accidents. It was accidents. I didn't mean it.
No. You got in high and tight and you threw him into the wall, and that's an accident? Not in NASCAR country, sir.
And listen. It's EA Sports. It's EA Sports. They don't get the rules.
It's in the game.
The Bristol Dirt Track race.
We are?
Yes, we are.
Oh, there you go.
We're going to Bristol, baby. It's Bristol.
Oh, you lucky. I've always wanted to go to Food City, Jesus.
Oh, come visit.
Come
we'll put
visit.
you up.
Come to
Yeah,
Tennessee. We'll get you there.
I could try if I had the money.
That's what it all comes down to all the time, right? In anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there we go.
All right. Well, good stuff, man. And of course, the Renegade, JJ Williams. JJ, I hope that you enjoyed the moderation of tonight's open mic night. I was happy to do this. I would, no problem, do this again for you anytime, sir. But again, always appreciate you. Appreciate your takes on movies too. My mom does as well. But anything you want to promote, where can people find you?
I've got quite a few things that I'm going to show for. I've got my own stuff, and I've got some of Jeff's stuff slid in here so that I can address it too. Really quickly, Darren G.
Oh.
Meech is perfectly fine. He just had to work this evening. They gave him a really shitty shift. So he just couldn't be here tonight. And it looks like we got a $2 super chat from Emmanuel. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Somebody quote what Jericho said to Steph. You talking about the dirty, disgusting, brutal, bottom-feeding trash bag hoe? You talking about that line? Or are we talking about let the boobies hit the floor?
Are we talking about where she said, I'm going to get that gruesome beast and I'm going to get you too, Rhino?
Right? Like, Jericho's had so many one-liners to Stephanie. It's like, which one are we referring to? But I just gave you a few. Hopefully one of those are the ones you were talking about.
I'm just going to say this. I think there may have been a lot of underlying sexual tension. That's why they, I was just saying this.
It was early 2000s, invasion. She was still a young prima donna. Working herself, just saying. Stat boy.
My favorite one is what Triple H said. She tried to take a shot at him saying that the game came up short, and he's like, well, even a 747 flying into the Grand Canyon is small.
Oh my God! That's where. That's.
I saw that comment earlier.
Joke. Yeah, that's.
That one.
Got it.
Damn.
Good joke.
That definitely is a good one. As far as where people can find me before I get into all my shills,
go ahead.
There you go, right there. Instagram, The Renegade JJ Williams. YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. Twitter, @ROWJJ Williams.
Twitter.
Make sure you go back into the archives from this week. Take a look at the episode of The Dads, Not Always on Wrestling, that went up this week, where me and Jeff discussed the top 10 voice actors of all time. We only had 2 similarities on our lists, so 18 different voice actors and actresses that we gave a little bit of love to. Make sure you check that out. Also go back in the archives this week, as it was a very busy week for Noah and James as they did watch along commentary for all 4 of those shows. I think it's safe to say that New Year's Evil was the worst of the shows. Rampage was probably above that, and then it was probably pretty neck and neck between Dynamite and Hard to Kill, right, gentlemen? I mean, Noah, you did say that Dynamite was pay-per-view quality, and then James, you called Hard to Kill one of the best things you've ever seen top to bottom. So
yeah, that's up there with Wrestle Kingdom 12, 14,
and 17,
Mania 17. Wrestle Kingdom 14, 17, Hard to Kill, Mania 17, Mania 19 from top to bottom.
So
that's like my top 5.
Pretty stellar commentary happened this week. Tomorrow will be another episode of the War Zone, the weekly acquisition report, where I show off the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. Also tomorrow, over on the other channel that we occasionally show for, the No DQ review at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. And then you can also catch Aaron's recaps of Raw, SmackDown, and AEW Dynamite. Kicking off on Monday for musicals, we've got Les Miserables, Cats, Chicago, and Idina Menzel, Which Way to the Stage for new release Saturday this coming week. As Statboy mentioned, Statboy Sports Bar on Tuesdays. Also got Talk Wrestling on Tuesdays. It's alternating back and forth between a taped program and a live stream. It just depends on if Jeff has the day off or not, but there will be a Talk Wrestling going up at its normal time on Tuesdays. Also on Monday, he's got his interview with Adam Contras that he filmed on Friday, I believe it was. Goes one-on-one with Jeff Meacham. And then make sure you tune in later this month for our next episode of The Dads, Not Always on Wrestling. Normally a Monday show, but we've had to push it to Friday just because Jeff is pretty busy at work with little time to actually sit down and film. So we're not going to be able to get it canned, edited, and ready to go so that it'll go up by Monday of that week, the 23rd, I think it is, the same day as Raw is 30. So it's going to have to be pushed to the Friday just before the Rumble instead. So that is everything that is coming up for me in the coming week.
Good stuff, everybody. Again, sometimes I don't know if we know what sleep is. We always stay busy, but we always have fun, but we always keep people engaged and entertained, and that's what's most important, and educated too. Again, appreciate all of you. If folks want to know more about me, though, know this. And James, I will give you credit for credits too. You got most of it right. You just couldn't type all because you ran out of characters. Folks, I am a simple man, but a lifelong fan of professional fucking wrestling, damn it! But I digress. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to the entire ATW family on Twitter. Finally going to take a bit of a break, both my voice and content for a little bit. But me, Kusan, and Casey will get back together to talk more NWW and Stardom soon. There will be another ATW view once further developments are made official as far as the WWE environment. The next Simply Predicting panel will, of course, be for the WWE Royal Rumble. Time to be known later, too. And, of course, I'll keep you engaged with all sort of prediction leagues and continued thoughts, takeaways, and duties across the WWE social media with live reaction, watch-alongs, and, of course, over my night stances, too. But as always, I'll let it conclude. There are no winners, no losers, no bears. There are just fans with opinions, with this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, and treasure your families. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. With that being said, as I conclude this forum, I'd like to thank you all once again for tuning in to Open Mic Night. This again has been the 1 year anniversary special, and it will continue from here every Saturday, as always, and every pay-per-view post. So stay tuned for more on that. But please, across the entire Multiverse Media, like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the bell so this video goes live on demand on any other channels. And again, hit the subscribe button. Help us keep growing our YouTube communities so we can keep reaching out to even more great people too. And I assure you, we're not letting up anytime soon. For Step Boy Mikey and Dory Lou. For James Hebert of J. Hebert Side 95 Neptune Productions. For the Renegade JJ Williams. And for, of course, the man whose name is on the marquee, Jeff motherfucking Meacham. For those that couldn't be here but have contributed at some point to this forum the last year, including but not limited to Jesse Davin, Big G, of course, the movie star, Mikey T, Owen Finch, and anybody else who even just made a cameo at some point. For all of you that continually engage or super chat us, then, now, and sure to come. Again, thank you, Emmanuel, for the only super chat of the night. Truly appreciate you. I definitely acknowledge you, but I acknowledge all of you too. This has been Open Mic Night, 1 year anniversary edition. And until next week, Saturday, I leave you all with this. Make a positive impact in life. Have a good night. And adieu. And thank you.